Hello, everyone, and welcome into Debate Night yet again. Episode, I don't even know, 27, 26, something like that.
26.
Big episode, though, because the podcast channel in general just crossed 15, I almost said 15,000 subscribers. Pretty big milestone for us. Pretty proud of it.
It was something that we were chasing for a while. Now I think the big number is the 25K.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, make sure you go over, check out the live stream on YouTube. And if you're paying attention or watching these and you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe and turn the notifications on so that way you don't miss out on any of these live.
Speaking of subscribing, our main channel is less than 1,000 away from 70K.
Yeah, lots of milestones.
That's a pretty, 70,000, that feels like a pretty decent sized YouTube channel.
Yeah, 70,000 is a good little milestone.
100,000 is what our eyes are on, but
Well,
we're yeah, exactly.
Where's the plaque going? Do we have a spot
My
yet?
office, my house. No,
you're
no, it's probably like just hanging on one of the walls above the toilet. It'll knock Trevor's diploma's hung above the toilet right now.
It'll take it off.
It'll take that off. We'll put that there, and we'll find a new spot.
There might be some better places like in.
But that's like just an ironic place.
Yeah, but like it might be nice like if we put in like if we have that trophy case that I want in the store.
Oh, and put it out front.
Like that'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool.
Show off. But
regardless, that's what our eyes are on. But we're probably a solid year away.
You never know. You never know.
No, we could have like one or two things pop off and then
I think
be there.
YouTube is very, very similar to working out. Consistency is everything. You're not going to see gains right away. It's just grind it out and keep making good, consistent content. And next thing you know, you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm jacked. Same thing.
Makes sense.
I have 1 million subscribers. Wow. What the heck? You never know. So what we're going to do, though, to celebrate the 15K is we're going to do a couple giveaways tonight. Silas over there, don't do anything yet, Silas. No fast fingers.
Okay.
No fast fingers. But Silas over there currently has 3 gift cards.
Yes.
Okay. He has a $20 gift card.
I do.
Another $20 gift card. And a $50 gift card. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to give away on the live show again. If you're listening to this later or you're, either on YouTube or wherever, and you're not tuning in live, you miss out sometimes on stuff. It is what it is. Everyone that's watching live, we appreciate you. We're going to be throwing up the gift card code on the screen at some point throughout the night.
The first one will come early.
First one will come early, probably in the first 30 minutes or so, $20. And it's literally first one to use it, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then the second one, we're going to wait because if we ever hit 1,000 viewers
We've been
live,
close.
We've been
Every
close.
week, pretty much. I think last week we got to like 9.
We were very close last
30,
week.
950.
Yeah, we were pushing 1,000.
We've crossed 1,000 with previous episodes.
We have. But if we do it this episode, we will bump up that $20 gift card to the $50 gift card.
Yeah.
And we'll drop that later as well. So make sure you share this, post it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, Facebook, all those fun things. Get your disc golf loving friends in the live chat so we can give some gift cards away. So that will be how it goes down. What? Questions? No? Did you say something?
I said
hear
boom.
something?
No.
I said boom.
Oh, gosh. I heard something.
Hey, I have a question.
actually do have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question first.
Yeah.
Is it the same question?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're going to find out. Why do you have a tag on the back of your hat?
That wasn't the question I was going to ask. Who signed your hat was the question I was going to ask.
No.
Former #1 golfer in the world, Justin Rose. Thank you very much.
Okay, why do you still have a tag on it?
That is also a good
It's a
question.
brand new hat. I've never worn it. This is the first. I thought at that special occasion, wear my Morgan Stanley signed Justin Rose hat. I don't even know if he's still even sponsored by Morgan Stanley. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I was
We're
just
gonna get
curious,
into
man.
sponsorships here in a little bit. I also have my my tour championship.
I noticed
PGA
it.
Tour.
Me too.
Yeah,
East Lake.
This is very nice. East Lake is a fire course. Okay, so February
Oh,
1st.
Sorry, someone was talking about my stain on my shirt.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have to explain that.
It's a coffee stain. Oh, you can't even see it. Okay, here we go. It's a coffee stain. I'm sorry. I spill things. I'm human. Next
That was
up.
on it. That was on his shirt at 7 a.m. this morning when he walked in
Yeah.
the office.
What? Oh.
It was already there.
Oh, it was like morning.
In the
brew.
It was morning coffee.
It happens. Silas is a busy person, so it's fine. It happens. February 1st. Happy February, everyone. Also, this show's kind of dope now to me in a certain way, and I think it's gonna be like that almost when I go on tour, because I've obviously have been spending a lot more time in the gym and practicing. So I haven't been around the office nearly as much. And so, like, I don't see you guys for 8 hours every day anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice, like, I'm also looking forward to the banter tomorrow. I don't know what the heck. Trevor's sick currently.
Trevor's sick. He's going to be back
out
tomorrow. We're going to Skype him in for grip lock because he feels good enough to do that. But
out for the banter.
Out for the banter.
Okay. But it'll still be good to talk and see. Silas, everything good on your end? Warehouse, everything crushing? Fine?
Yeah, everything's great. I missed the 3rd episode of Plastic Addicts.
Yeah.
Wait, what
I was
happened?
out.
He had a migraine last week.
Oh, are you back this week?
I'm back, baby.
With the new, is this the first
This
episode?
is the first
with the
episode.
new
This is the first set. All right, not the
First
set.
episode with the set.
The first episode with the new set.
Okay.
I tried filling in last week for him, and he told me no.
What's his show?
I know.
Yeah.
I thought consistency's key, as you
It
said
is.
previously. So I was like, hey, if you don't want to miss a week, I actually brought in some of my discs for you. I can just talk about them because like they're from my collection. I think it would go well. He's like, no. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, they'll be on the show this
They're
week.
pretty sick.
Yeah,
They're two of the oldest foundation runs. One, I don't think I would imagine most people that follow us don't know it exists.
Oh, heck yeah.
And the other one is what we kind of like burst onto the scene with, you could say.
Nice.
So
Check the show out. It
Yeah.
comes out on Fridays on fdnsports.com. That's our website. If you didn't know, yes, we have a website. Hunter and Trevor will be doing a lot of blogs throughout the year. Silas will be doing his show on Fridays. I'll be occasionally posting stuff on there, I'm sure. And we're also in works with, finding some other people that might write some cool stuff. So fdnsports.com. Then the last thing, too, is just the Patreon, February 1st, beginning of the new month. If you haven't yet, go over to patreon.com/foundation disc golf. Check it out. We have 3 different tiers on there. We'll have a new contest. I haven't decided what disc I want. I think I'm going to pull a disc probably from one of my collections.
nice.
For this month's
You
contest.
could do a Captain Raptor.
Oh, we could also do a Captain Raptor.
Comes out
Because
Friday.
we could do one of mine, too,
Oh.
with Team Discraft stamp.
There
Because
you
I
go.
don't think those – I think those only got sent out to Discraft sponsored players.
Yes.
So that actually might be a cool one, a Captain Raptor Team Discraft stamp. So check out patreon.com/foundation disc golf. It'll be the link in the description as well over here on YouTube. Lots of goodies on there. We'll have our podcast that we do every week is on there. We'll have a not behind the scenes, but a bonus video as well on there.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of goodies, discounts to the store, all that fun stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. All right. So first thing I want to talk about is over on the Foundation Nation Facebook group, someone made a post, side-by-side photo, basically saying they've never seen Joe Burrow or Trevor in the same spot. Silas will throw that photo up at this point so you guys can see it.
It's pretty uncanny.
It's like when I see Trevor on a day-to-day basis, I don't think about it at all. But if Trevor tried,
he could look like Joe
he
Burrow.
could look like Joe Burrow
100%.
very close.
I think it's like when there's just certain angles of both of them that make them look like each other. So like if you just look at them both just square on, just talking, you don't really notice it, but every once in a while you'll catch like a glimpse on TV of
just
Joe
the
Burrow,
perfect
and it'll be
angle.
like, that's Trevor. Because it happened to me like during the championship game on Sunday. They just like panned to him he was like sitting on the bench with his beanie on.
Why the
And I was like, that's
Bengals
literally
quarterback?
Trevor. Like that is Trevor. Yeah.
Did you watch the game, Silas?
No.
Silas.
Do you know who's in the Super Bowl? I'll give you a blizzard. I'll give you a blizzard if you can name who's in the Super Bowl.
I literally
help.
I'm not gonna
No
say, I'm
help.
not gonna help. I
Chat,
talked about it 2
no-
seconds ago.
No help
No-
from chat.
no
either.
help.
No help from chat.
Who's in the Super Bowl?
He probably doesn't even know who Joe Burrow plays
Don't-
for.
Yes, dude. It's
He doesn't know that
Burrow.
Burrow won, though.
the-
Burrow
No.
might have lost.
I was just saying this
No,
past
no,
Sunday he
no.
probably
I
doesn't even know
saw
who was
him
playing.
celebrating.
Okay.
So it's the
Well, yeah,
the
he's celebrating.
Bengals.
He just got
Okay.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
And isn't it the Bills, the Buffalo Bills?
Wow.
Nailed it.
Let's go.
Silence.
Let's go.
That's a blizzard.
That's
Man
a
of the
blizzard.
people.
That's a blizzard.
That's a
Man of the
blizzard.
people, silence.
Yeah, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow.
Just gonna be a quarterback duel of the century.
Gonna
Can't
be,
wait for it.
Yeah. Both of them got to where they are because of the coin flip too.
Kelsey, not Silas. Kelsey also nailed the Bengals money line, which She said Bengals money line, and I almost bet on it, and I was like, let's just take the points. It's like 8. It was like 8 points. I was like, let's just take the points, and then I was like, gosh dang it, I feel like an idiot. So yeah, Bengals, Bills, Super Bowl, the day before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Which it's going to cause some problems, I think, for some people. Some people I think are going to forget, but
Probably Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's definitely going to forget
That he's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that he's in the Super Bowl and he needs to show up.
Yeah. Especially when he got knocked out 2 weeks ago by the Chiefs. It's not the Bills, Silas.
Dang it,
I
man.
think he's reading the chat.
I don't think he was.
No, I wasn't.
No,
I was not.
I was looking
No
at
one
his face. He was not. He hadn't realized yet.
No one in the chat is saying
everyone.
the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Odell Beckham.
No,
Matt Stafford.
Cooper
Kupp.
Yeah, my dad's he was a Lions fan,
Oh.
but they were trash. They've always been trash.
Stafford just needed to go to LA.
Calvin Johnson,
That's all I
man.
needed to do.
All right, let's talk a little disc golf. Cat finally makes the announcement.
Ba-ba-ba-bam.
I mean, obviously there were memes and stuff getting thrown out there. The funniest one was Cat in the kite. What do you call that? The kite
Hang
buggy?
glider? Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
it was like
the
a buggy. It was like a buggy kite.
Yeah.
Flying into GGA. I mean, the thing is like, are we going to get, do you think like sponsorship announcements, how important are they? Like the actual videos behind them. Do you guys put value in that?
So, a little bit. It's more so hurtful if done poorly than helpful if done well.
But I think the Catrina Allen one, I don't think they spent a crazy amount of money on it, and I think it looked fine.
No, yeah, it's fine. Exactly. Yeah. Like
I think it's
I think it does a little bit more than just posting a picture.
yes.
But I think it's more so just if it's done like shockingly bad or shockingly low budget, it will hurt, which I don't have an example of that.
Well,
but I'm just saying it's the only.
What other sports?
Because like
I feel like in other sports they almost do like a commercial. They almost do something that's like more.
That's kind of what they are.
It is.
It's just like they're not going to
but
run it on TV because.
I know, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's different ways of going about it to potentially, like, obviously Catrina Allen did the rounds, right? She went on a bunch of different podcasts and stuff. Do we want to say anything about Trevor situation? Do we want to let anyone?
Oh, his disc?
No, that. But also, I mean, we can talk about that if you want.
Well, yeah,
Can we
his
talk
disc,
about that?
his disc has come in.
I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah.
Has he posted about it?
He hasn't posted about it because it came in on a day the day
I don't want to
checked the
spoil
mail.
it if he's going to announce it on Grip Lock. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's
The
waiting.
disc? What are we talking about?
The disc.
Oh,
I'm talking about another thing too.
I know you're talking about the other thing. I don't know what you're talking about right now. The disc, I don't think is a spoiler because Kat posted on her story.
Okay. So yeah, Kat sent him a signed steady.
Not breaker.
Which
steady.
is kind of dope.
Yeah.
And then
And she wrote a little personalized note for him. I opened it.
yeah,
So
that was nice of her.
but
on,
I
man.
sent a picture to Trevor. He's homesick this week, so he asked me to send a picture to him. So I did. I
Okay.
didn't just go around opening his mail.
But so I think there's obviously a lot of different ways of going about it. It'll just be interesting to see in the future how much money and effort manufacturers put, because I think that's the one thing is like it's different when you have, you know, a player that's signing, you know, a $700,000, $1 million deal, whatever it is, like crazy amount of money for them to like shell out 10, 15K on a sponsorship video.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, if you are paying someone $100,000 or $70,000 and then you're paying $10,000 on a sponsorship video,
It's like 10%.
yeah, versus like doing commercials. I think that's where it's like, I think you can announce it in a cool way that kind of promotes something.
Yeah.
Versus like right now, it seems like a lot of sponsorship videos, it seems like they're not cookie cutter so much, but it's almost like telling a story of like, and it's like at a certain point, when do you not tell that story? It makes sense if you've never been sponsored before and no one knows who you are, but it's like, you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I don't think
it's a big deal.
I don't think the cat
No.
video had anything to do with it.
No,
I
Cat
think
was short enough. Cat was short. It
I think
wasn't
the issue
super
that
long.
comes in is when it's just like copy and paste and like we're just going to use the same thing for everyone.
Yeah.
That's when it just, because then it just kind of all melts together in your head versus making it personalized, like for specific players to.
Well, I think fans just at a certain point just draw, like they just kind of like it kind of just gets lost in the
Exactly.
wind 'cause
Exactly.
they
It
know
just
what to
becomes a blur
expect. They know what
versus
to
like when you
expect.
do something unique for the player that's unique to their game, or maybe why you think they're going to succeed with your discs or whatever. I think a video helps add more than if you just make a picture post. And I think the only way a video detracts, because I think even the copy and paste template one is still just as good as a picture, about the same. The only way it detracts is if it's like shot on your iPhone, or the audio quality is awful, or something like that. I think it's the only way that's like, ooh.
For me, like I would personally rather have like a 30 to 45 second like hype video of where no one knows where you're going, and all of a sudden this hype video drops and you're throwing new discs and you're in new gear, and less of like sit down interviewy kind of style thing. Like I think for me, like that would be, as a fan, that would get like me more jacked up.
I think it depends player to player, because that's
Yeah.
kind of what Paul did. His initial announcement to Discraft 2018, it was like I think Jomez might have been the one that released it, but it was basically like they made it seem like it was like round coverage, and then when he like did his reach back,
That's
you could
sick.
see that it was either a Discraft logo or that it was an Undertaker, one or the other. But it was been hyped up, and no one knew where he was going to end up. Blah blah blah. And then on the reach back, you see it, and it was like
that was like the
that was the like revealing.
I
moment.
like that. I like the idea of like creating.
But
like
I think
a
it depends
story
player to player.
Of course,
Yeah.
if no one knows who you are, then yeah, you might want to have a little bit more of a backstory into it. But, is Catrina Allen now the first face of a manufacturer? Because obviously they have Marweed, right? Who's the other big name.
Okay.
But obviously, like in my opinion, Catrina Allen is a bigger face, a more well-known player.
Are you saying of DGA?
Correct.
Is it the first time Cat's been the face of the manufacturer?
Any FPO player. Has there ever been an FPO player that's been the face? Because she is, in my opinion, she is the
Paige
face
Pierce
of DGA.
with dynamic discs.
There wasn't another big
Ricky was with Latitude, but Dynamic
separate.
Yeah, well they're separate, and Dynamic, I'm trying to think at that time,
didn't have anyone else.
I mean
it would be tough. Yeah,
no one at Paige's caliber.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like Chris Clemens, Eric Oakley, Emac might have been playing a bit more at that
still,
time.
Paige would be the
but Paige was like the player.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say Paige in that era. But yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think Catrina Allen. Obviously, it depends.
Like
the
Juliana,
season.
Juliana Corver always had a male
Ken Climo.
counterpart, and then.
But it depends a lot too.
What about Valerie Jenkins? Did she ever have a spot?
She was
where,
at Innova.
So they probably had a bunch of MPO players.
I mean,
as well.
she was at Innova during the like
Climo and
Avery
all that
Jenkins, Paul Macbeth,
Okay, yeah.
Barry Schultz.
So I think it's kind of cool.
Feldberg eras.
I think it's kind of cool that we have a position where like DGA can put a lot of effort into Catrina Allen.
Yeah,
right. Obviously,
absolutely. The biggest thing that's a question mark to me is DGA doesn't make their own discs. They're made through Discraft.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that going to look like? Like, is it like some type of behind the scenes collab deal where Discraft's like, hey, we'll up production, blah, 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 or will, if Cat throws X amount of Discraft, we'll help. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like, if you're Discraft, you hold all the cards in a certain degree. Because like if at the end of the day you don't make discs, then DGA can't sell the disc to pay Cat, basically. Because it's in a weird situation. It's not just like you're a manufacturer and it's like, okay, we just need to have this influence move enough of our stock product. It's like, hey, we need to get enough of our stock product in to be able to move it, to be able to make it worth it. That's the only thing that's going to be interesting to me this season. I think Kat's going to perform very well with those discs. That was her first sponsor, I think, back when she was an AM. I think Marweed's going to perform very well with their discs, especially if they can throw a mixed bag with Discraft. There's no reason to think that they can't, at least somewhat. And there's also no reason to think that even if they can't, that between all of the DGA molds, they won't be able to easily fill their spots out and they make good plastic. So I don't think there's going to be like a performance drop-off. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting, fun season with both of them because Marweed's on the cusp of a breakout season too, before this switch.
He's a player that for sure can have a one, maybe even a 2 Elite Series win. Like he could snag up 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah.
He can also go and not make a top 10.
But that's what I'm saying is
there's a lot of players like that this year that are going to be in that weird mode of like, if they get hot at the right time, they can win.
Yeah,
And eventually that'll be the entire tour.
exactly.
There'll be 50 guys that if they get hot one weekend, they can win.
Yeah.
If
that's
not,
what
they might not even cash.
That's what Marweed. It was on the cusp of that breakout season. I think he went to a playoff at Idlewild. He had a few like middle of the season,
late season. He always does really well
to where he started to get closer and closer to the top, all with Innova Plastic. So it'll be interesting to see like his start to this season and how that all goes with DGA molds now. Like, I don't know. I always find it interesting. Some players, the plastic at the end of the day doesn't really matter 90%, 99% of the time.
If you can get your hands on it.
If you can get your hands on it. But also there is like some players just don't play well with certain brands. There's no real reason. It's just like some brands cater well to certain games. Discraft caters to everyone's game because they have a wide thing. Same with Innova. But like Prodigy, for instance, I've always felt like Prodigy caters well to like Heiser Flippers games for some reason. So I think that's why Dickerson did really well there. But I don't know DGA. I don't know their plastic well enough to know how it's all going to work in. Because I know Marweed wants a lot of overstable stuff. I mean, he has to. He's a forehand player.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's talk about the skins match, Eagles Crossing. Obviously, we mentioned that a little bit. It's the big skins match that's going to be going down. Ricky will be there. Eagle will be there. Scott Stokely will be there. I will be there as well. Bogey Bros might be there.
Possibly. We're looking at getting a Bogey Bro battle either the day after or sometime around there to where we can be there for the skins match and then get a Bogey Bro battle at the course as well.
So I saw that they posted that they're going to have spectator passes. And this is something that I think has been brought up, and we can kind of expand it if we want to not just the skins match, because this is more of an exhibition. This is more of like almost kind of like a pay-per-view event type of thing.
Yeah.
Even though I think it's just going to come out on YouTube, I believe. It won't be no live.
Not that I know of.
No live, but it'll just come out on free on YouTube later. But this is something that's been brought up a little bit about like the Disc Golf Pro Tour charging for spectator passes. And I don't know. You have more information, so I'm going to let you kind of take over and let us know. But when I saw how much it was going to be for a one-day event, that's where I was like, okay, hopefully when, Hunter gives us all the details, there's good stuff there because it's $200.
Yeah, so I screenshot the details that I could find from their website. This is through their Facebook page. So basically, spectator passes include private spectator access to follow a championship card. I mean, the only skins match.
So that's showing up.
Yeah. Parking included. Access to property amenities before and after the event.
So bathrooms.
And like the pro shop. And I think that you can also play the course before or after.
Okay.
Gourmet lunch, meet and greet with the players, and then free open play once the filming is complete. And so then they put an event schedule where what time the pro shop opens, the player roll call, player introduction, skins match start, skins match ends, the meet and greet with the food, and then 3:30 the course is open to play until 8 p.m. And then, it basically just says that it'll be held to the National Tour standards for spectators. All sales are final. Blah, blah, blah.
Anything where that money's going?
Not that I saw. I can pull up their Facebook page again.
And again, like this is a little bit different because the owner of this course and the one that's kind of putting on the event, I mean, I think someone said something ridiculous. I don't know if this is like an actual number, but someone said along the lines of like he's put in over $1 million.
I heard 1.5 million.
Yeah, into this course. So like at the end of the day, if that $200 is going into this guy's pocket, you can't. I mean, no one can argue with that.
I would imagine it's going into the purse, but
I didn't know if it was going towards the skins or if it was going to a charity or anything like that.
Yeah, so it just says spectator passes. It doesn't say. Let me look on Disc Golf Scene.
Okay.
To see if there's more there, but it just says spectator passes can be purchased.
Is that for like the entirety of the event?
It's one day, one day, one round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, obviously $200 is pretty pricey. I think,
this is interesting. They're enforcing A-tier dress code for spectators. Because it's going to be a filmed event. So
that's kind of cool.
You all have to be like spectators all have to be in dry fits. stuff like that.
Oh, that's not. I mean, that's kind of weird.
Professional.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
What about like, okay, if I go
You're not
to a
getting
golf tournament,
you can show up in athletic shorts and a t-shirt. You can show up in a sleeveless shirt.
really?
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, people don't.
The Masters,
Interesting,
is probably different. I've never
Yeah,
been,
okay.
and I've never seen the tickets, and I'm sure someone listening probably can give us a little bit more detail on that. But I'm sure the Masters are different. But like, I mean, the Phoenix Management Open, you've got girls showing up in like sundresses and dudes showing up like straight after a frat party. So, yeah, there's nothing. I don't think you can go shirtless. Like, I don't think like if you're
I think the only reason that this is in place is because it's on video. Like he said this is a promotional shoot.
okay,
So like it's basically like they
want it to
might
look
get
good.
promotional stuff out of it as well, and they
don't want someone
want someone showing up
shirtless in the
shirtless
back.
with an American flag bathing suit on or something. I'm just throwing something random out there.
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, it looks
And
like
again,
it's just a spectator pass, $200.
This is
for
like
that.
this is a private event.
I would
This
imagine.
is not this is an exhibition. There's a pay-per-view thing. So at the end of the day, like all of our critiques and criticism, like it doesn't really matter because if no one shows up, then they realize, okay, $200 is too expensive.
I would imagine the money's going into the event itself, the skins match itself, because they have said like they're hoping more money will be added and stuff like that.
What do we think? What do we think is the price? Because like this one, it's hard to say because it's a private course, right?
Mhm.
So like you can't just show up and play this course.
Correct. Well, you can't. There's gonna be a grand opening, but it's gonna be a pay to play, as far as I know.
Okay, but right now you can't.
April 2nd, you can. Correct.
Okay.
So 24 days before the skins match, it'll be open.
Oh, so it will be open when the skins match happens.
It'll probably shut down that day.
Yeah, but I'm saying
I believe from what
Okay.
I saw online, it'll be open early April.
because I was thinking that could be part of the value is like you get to play the course before anyone else gets to play it, but it'll already be
I think this
open.
is part of the like grand opening weekend they're putting on, but I'm assuming that this
Okay.
isn't the grand open. It didn't look like this was the actual grand opening day.
Size, can you look up what like a general admission for a PGA Tour event is?
I looked up the general admission for a Pro Tour while he's looking up the PGA Tour, and it looks like the Pro Tour is doing
Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yes, the Disc Golf Pro Tour. It looks like they're doing a few different options at a few different events. Waco, for instance, it looks like the VIP weekend pass was already sold out. I think that was about $100 for the weekend. They had VIP day passes, and what I thought interesting there is the VIP day passes and the general admission day passes went up. So Friday was the cheapest day, Saturday was the middle of the road, Sunday was the most expensive.
Makes sense.
The general admission, it looked like it went like 10, 15, 20 was pretty standard. And it seemed like what they're going with this year, which was actually a COVID protocol previously, but it looked like they were planning on doing it at all courses because I looked at Jonesboro and Waco. So we'll have to see as the tour goes on, is having general admission zones to where like general admission at Waco, for instance, is that main road where you can see 1, 2, 3, 4.
You
and
can't
then you
go
can
in the
see,
woods and stuff.
Correct. And then the VIP allows you to follow a card.
Interesting.
So like I would assume lead card will have the VIP gallery, and that allows them to actually go in beyond that. So it seems like each course can have general admission zones to where crowds will gather around certain holes, but VIPs will be allowed kind of inside the ropes to be able to follow behind the card beyond that.
It sounds like they'll probably have to do that at a lot of courses, mainly just because you can't, because in a golf course, right? Like you have general admission, you can go anywhere outside the ropes.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like you said, there's VIP, there's suites, there's boxes, there's all sorts of stuff that you have to have like additional tickets to get into.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to watch hole 1 or hole 7 or whatever, I can go wherever I want. Disc golf, because of the way that certain courses are set up, that's just not feasible. You can't.
Yeah.
If hole 16 was the most electric hole and everyone wanted to go see it, but it's inside the woods, they can't have 2,000 people on hole 16. So that seems like probably the best way of having to do it down the future. I'm thinking too, like at Worlds, for example, you could have something set up on like 18 of where like it's like nice seating, like bleacher seating or
Like
whatever
it was at
may
Worlds
be.
this year.
Yeah, where they have bleacher seating, but like that's like limited to certain people with tickets.
Yeah.
When obviously this year there weren't as many people there to where it was like if you wanted a seat, you probably could have got one. But to the point of where like let's say there's 10,000 people and there's only 2,000 seats there, you could sell at a premium like, hey, when if you want 18 bleachers or whatever, whatever. So I think there's a lot of different ways of doing it. Silas, did you get a number for us?
Yeah, it looks like it's based on the day. So like Thursday, Wednesday,
just give
Thursday.
give me like a Thursday.
You want a
Because
Thursday?
Wednesday's gonna be the cheapest because that's a practice round.
So a Thursday is like $60.
At what event are you looking at?
This is Pebble Beach.
Okay, that's really
AT&T.
do like a John Deere Classic. Go like John Deere Classic general admission Thursday ticket. Pebble Beach is like one of the more famous courses. Also, that's like a pro-am situation. So you've got a lot of other events going on with celebrities and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't know what tournament you actually looked at, but I think what you just said though, the price is there. The pricing makes sense, and hopefully on like a 4-day they do basically like a weekday and a weekend. Right, so like weekday is like $10, weekends like $20 or something like that, whatever it may be.
So for Jonesboro, for instance,
because
this one none of the tickets are sold out yet. It looks like VIP pass, entire event was $75. Weekend pass, $25. That's for Saturday and Sunday. Friday, that's general admission. Friday pass was $10. Just the Saturday pass was $10. Just the Sunday pass was $10. And they had a VIP plus merchandise pass for $100. So that was the full Jones.
All right, I don't know if I'm crazy.
Oh gosh,
but it says it's $120
for one day
for Thursday
for the John Deere Classic.
Yeah, and it's
it's
on my birthday, June 30th.
Oh, you should go, Silas. That seems really really steep, but
it had me pick the day and everything.
I haven't paid to go to a PGA Tour event in a long time.
So here we go.
I'm just saying I don't know exactly.
Okay, June 29th, that's $91.
And
maybe
this is
the John Deere Classic.
This is just general admission.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeez. Obviously, the golf isn't doing bad if they're able to charge that much for general admission. I mean, that's how much. I mean, can't you go to like a football game? Can't you go to an NFL game for that much?
Oh, for cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the RBC Heritage tickets. Week-long ticket package is $375 for the advanced price, $395. Grounds ticket pack, tournament grounds Tuesday through Sunday is $295. Daily ticket option. Let me just find
do the daily ticket.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Daily grounds tickets $95.
Wait, okay, I found cheaper. I'm deal hunting here. Wednesday, John Deere Open $60.
That's the practice round. That's not even like a real
practice. So the practice round for this is only $25 for the RBC Heritage.
A Saturday, $84.
So John Deere is kind of an expensive tournament.
Well, John Deere's a good one. John Deere's like a middle of the pack.
I will say you can get Barbecue at hole 15 if you pay $195 per day.
Gosh,
experience Doc's Barbecue at 15.
I stand corrected. I would have basically been way off.
The how do you pronounce that? Calabagoo?
I've never heard of that.
Calabagoo?
I've never heard of that.
Club, all exclusive hospitality venue, 17th and 18th, between the 17th green and 18th tee, $375 per day.
Let's do a $20 gift card. Throw it up there. $20 gift card, foundationdisc.com.
$20 gift card. Boom. Go redeem it.
Redeem it. First one gets it. Enjoy. Thank you guys for supporting the show and supporting Foundation Podcasts. We have, 4 podcasts now on here? 3 podcasts on here. 1 behind Patreon. So appreciate that. But holy cow, man, that's a lot of money. Was not thinking about that at all, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. I had no reference of what like a golf tournament would cost.
One thing I will say, though, that I think, again, I mean, now I'm actually not even worried about it because – like, I think it's smart right now where disc golf is they're not charging that much because they also know they're not really offering that much. Like when you pay $60 or $70 or $80 for a PGA Tour event, there's a lot of other things that come along with that. Obviously, you're not getting free food or any free merchandise or anything like that, but the experience itself, there's a lot of other stuff going on versus in disc golf right now, it's like you show up, you basically watch it. There's probably not any seating. There's not like anything like set up for you really, especially at just like a normal disc golf pro tour event. They might have like a merchandise tent. They'll probably have a couple bathrooms, porta potties spread out, but they're doing it where it's like, let's just try to get as many people here as possible for the cheapest versus like, let's juice everything.
Which that's the model that you want right now, because you don't want.
Because also
you need-
sponsorships can kind of cover a lot of that stuff too.
In disc golf right now, you need the spectator revenue for events. That makes sense. But you also need to set it at a place where a spectator isn't deciding I'm not going to go to that event because it costs so much. So I think like $10 up to $20 for like the final day, that range makes sense because it's enough to where like you can cover some like bonus amenities and stuff like that. You can cover some base fees for renting the park out, whatever you need. It's an extra source of revenue for the Pro Tour, but it's also not so much that if I'm 3 hours away in Charlotte, like going to Charlotte for a Pro Tour event, I'm not looking at it and being like, gosh, do I really want to pay $100 though? Like I got to drive 2 hours plus a hotel, plus I got to pay, $100 a day. I'm looking at spending $1,000 on a weekend. It's like, okay, I just got to find a cheap hotel and, it can cost me $30 to watch Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Let's talk about some big headline news in other sports real quick. And I kind of want to see if we can come up with, I think, Hunter, you'll probably be the best one out of all of us here.
I think you're going to be surprised at my answer.
Okay.
Well, actually, you might not be.
Because I actually don't have one. Silas, who knows what Silas is going to come up with. But Rafael Nadal, arguably tough to say that he's not the best tennis player of all time because he literally just surpassed with the most major titles with 21.
Yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of those are at the French Open where he dominates on clay, but he won in thrilling fashion the Australian Open. If you guys didn't watch that, I mean, it was unbelievable. I thought I was going to miss it because it started at 3:30 in the morning.
3:30 a.m., yeah.
And I set my alarm. Well, it's in Australia, Silas. I set my alarm to wake up to watch it. And I think sometime before I went to bed, I was like, dude, I can't do that. I'm going to get crushed. But I ended up waking up at like 6:30 or something. And I was like, oh, I'll see if it's still on.
Yeah.
And it was like an extremely long.
It was like 5.5 hours.
Extremely long match. So I got to watch a whole lot of it.
I got up at 6:30 that morning. It was on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So I got up at 6:30. I had to be at church at 8:30. So I got up at 6:30. And we just let ESPN play all night. That's just what we fall asleep to.
Yeah.
So I woke up to them playing. And I was like, man, it's already been on for 3 hours. And so I watched some of it. It
was epic.
And then I got to church to like set stuff up and pulled it up on my phone and watched the final game that ended it.
Epic.
So it was pretty thrilling.
Nadal takes it down now.
Crazy.
I felt bad a little bit for the other guy. I think his name is Medvedev.
Something like that. He's a number 2 ranked player in the world right now.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, he's one of those guys that just doesn't look like he really is trying that hard, and he can generate so much power. He was
up
2
sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the crowd was 100% pro Nadal.
Yeah.
And not him at all.
That's how I could tell when I was like showering and stuff. I had the TV on in the other room, and I could tell who was scoring based on the crowd noise.
But I want to know, who do you think will end up going down as the Nadal? Because you got Federer, you got Sampras, you got Djokovic, you got a lot of these other players that are still like right there with 20. I think the 2 that have 20 is Federer and Djokovic. I believe both have 20.
Are we going based on titles?
Well, that and almost someone too that's like he's very specialized, because I don't know how many. Size, maybe you could look this up for me. How many French Opens Nadal has? So out of the 21, I'm curious how many. My guess is like he has like 7. Would be my guess.
I was gonna say, if you go titles alone,
maybe 8.
It's gonna be hard for someone to ever beat Ken Climo.
Just because he got in early.
Exactly. He got in when there wasn't.
He has won 13 French Opens.
Okay, I was off a little bit. So, yeah, over twice as many. So, it's almost like he's almost like someone that is, I mean, because he has a.
It would be like if someone dominated like
wood courses. Or no, Eagle.
USDGC.
Dark Horse Eagle. Could it be Eagle?
Or he just dominates open courses.
He just dominates golf, like any open course.
I was kind of thinking like Paul with the European Open, because I was thinking someone dominating a major. But if you go versus, because the French Open,
it's tough to do disc golf, tennis like majors, because there hasn't been that many established.
Yeah.
So it's almost more like you have to say like any like elite series.
Yeah, if you go elite series, then like Eagle with open courses.
Who would be like the wooded guy? That like, is there a guy that just
There's not a guy that dominates. Paul tends to do pretty good in the woods. When a major's on the line, it's also hard when you sneak in like
Sarah
national.
Holcomb on the FPO side in the woods. Would she is she kind of, because like if you it's tough though, because like Nadal, obviously he won 13 on clay and then he's won 8 off clay, so he's still won a crap ton off clay. So you can't pick someone that's like only dominant on one field. But someone that has like a specialty, where that's why I think like Eagle, for example, like he might be a great pick, because if you go to a golf course, everyone's gonna probably think that he has the best chance of winning.
Yeah.
But then if you go to not like a heavily wooded course, but like another course,
Idlewild.
Idlewild, for example, he won. Like you can't say he doesn't have a chance. He's already won. He already won.
He's got a chance at winning it. You just think in the back of your head.
But
he's
like
less
if
likely.
you put Dickerson versus Eagle at Idlewild, then you have
Idlewild's not even a great example because it's not super wooded. But because like in that case, I'm picking. I'm the one one of us said it, but I'm probably picking Eagle over Dickerson in that situation. But if you put him at like
MVP,
I'm taking Dickerson. Yeah, but Eagle might have won MVP before. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I would take Dickerson MVP.
All right, so the other player that obviously made big news, big headlines, was Tom Brady. The whole fiasco, retiring, not retiring, retiring, not
He's
retiring.
officially retiring now.
First off, the crazy thing that's going on right now with a lot of the Patriot fans and stuff that we're seeing is like he basically just didn't mention the Patriot fans at all. So like the only equivalence of that would be someone like Paul, for example.
If Paul, he retired and didn't
say anything about Innova.
But that doesn't seem that crazy.
It's a little bit different.
That doesn't seem that crazy.
It would be if Paul retired
it's different, though.
2 years ago.
But it's different with like sponsors, because really only be thinking the sponsor
that you're currently with versus a team.
Versus a fan base that has like supported you
from like a certain region.
Amount.
Why I said it would be like Paul 2 years ago is because Brady wasn't with Tampa that long.
Yeah. So
like he won 6 of his 7 with New England.
Yeah. Right. So it'd be tough for that. But who do you think will go down as like
the greatest of all time in disc golf?
Well,
like Tom Brady in football.
Do you consider him the greatest of all time?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of people will consider that.
Will there ever be someone that like will always be a quarterback? Like when you talk about greatest football player of all time,
it's going to be hard for it not to be,
because the quarterback is just so dominant, especially
the
with where the
also
NFL is going
exactly.
now.
But it's also the quarterback's so tied to the success of their team.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bengals, everyone's talking about Joe Burrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ja'Marr Chase is disgusting. They have a disgusting defense. Because you're right. Like on the other side of the ball, a lot of times you hear about their defense is very good. You don't hear like this one player is disgusting.
Every once in a while, you'll know about a player like
No, there's
who's the guy on the Rams?
Well, Jalen Ramsey is disgusting.
No, the defensive
Von
lineman.
Miller.
Well, he's good too.
Donald.
Donald. Yeah.
Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Yeah, but
you'll hear about him, but they won't ever go down because the ball's in the quarterback's hands every play. But I don't think we have our Tom Brady yet because we're not there yet. We're still in the like.
Do you think too like the Tom Brady is really going to show up, because like obviously
they could already be here,
but like winning in the NFL right now is really tough.
We're such a young sport, is my biggest thing.
That's
so whenever we talk about greatest of all time, like I always look at basketball.
How old's the NFL?
NFL's very old.
A lot older.
60, 80 years.
Really?
Maybe more.
Disc golf. I mean,
were they playing in the
national
20s?
tour didn't even start till like Ken Climo played in pre-national tour era.
Yeah.
And he played in the early 2000s. So like the national tour has it even been around 20 years yet? I don't think so. I think it started in like 2003, maybe even later.
I think though it will be like if someone can go out and win 5, 6, 7 majors, something like that across their career, like 15, 20 years from now, that's going to be looked at as it's going to be the same thing as the Jordan LeBron
well, it's like
comparisons.
I think that Ken Climo's kind of like Bill Russell, where Bill Russell's got 11 rings, but you never really hear him talked about a ton.
No.
You know what I mean? Because he won 11 rings way back. Same thing as Ken Climo. He won 12 world titles way back. And then it's tough to know where Paul falls into that line, kind of like because he's the next. So after Bill Russell, you don't know kind of quite where to put Paul on the timeline of like how much people will remember him when we're all old talking about him.
Is Paul like a Peyton Manning? Where
Flip
he's not like
older.
He's not like
older.
Tom Brady.
No, because
right?
like if you look at Bill Russell in his time, right, or you look at Michael Jordan in his time, in their time, it's unfathomable to think of someone ever being better than them.
Most dominant.
Right.
That's what Paul is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Ken Climo was. In their time, when you're watching them, it's unfathomable to think someone could come along. So to that era, they will always be the greatest of all time. That's why you have the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate.
Time out.
But as stuff comes down the line,
time out. Here's a good counterpoint though. I think with the NBA though, when you look at it, like obviously some rules have changed and stuff, but like the ball hasn't changed. It's been 10 feet, the rim, like all that hasn't changed. So you can look at both like objectively and be like, this guy's doing stuff that these people weren't doing. Golf though, similar to disc golf, you don't ever really hear anyone talk about like, oh well, Jack Nicklaus, like granted he wasn't hitting the ball nearly as far, the courses weren't nearly as hard, like all those things, but you don't ever really hear anyone throw that out. You still hear Jack Nicklaus as being one of the greatest golfers of all time, even though he did it in a old era. Same thing with like Sam Snead, like guys, old Byron Nelson, like old guys. It doesn't, like the Bill Russell thing, it doesn't hold water in golf because the technology has changed. So they obviously know like those guys couldn't do what the guys are doing now because of technology.
that's the same thing as Climo.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think that is going to be a conversation that down the road will happen of where, because right now, obviously a lot of people are talking about it. The only difference though is like the field of play.
That's what I'm saying.
Is going to be
disc
drastically different.
Disc golf
10 years
is
from
way
now.
too young right now.
Yeah.
To even talk about greatest of all time. Way too young.
Well, you had a greatest of all time in that
all
era.
time. That's not all time.
Right.
You can
Yeah,
have
I
the
think-
greatest
I
of
think-
their day
Who's the best golfer? Like who's the
of all time.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods.
Well, Jack or Tiger.
Well, he's in this time.
Jack or Tiger
But
Woods.
golf is so old that there's not the thing of there's the technology develops, but the field. My biggest thing is Ken Climo. He wasn't beating up on the field that today is.
Right.
Paul 5 years ago wasn't beating up on the field of today. 10 years from now, that disc golfer, first off, 10 years from now, there probably won't be a disc golfer that's just beating up on the field. But the beating up on the field 10 years from now will look like you're beating 50, 60 great disc golfers.
Yeah.
Versus 5 years ago, you're beating 5, 10 great disc golfers. Climo's era, you're beating 1, 2 great disc golfers. That's the biggest issue. You can't have a greatest of all time when our sport's 30, 40 years old.
And also, too, the other thing that disc golf does, I think, like with the World Championships, the way that they have them set up, obviously it's different now because I think it went to 5 days, I believe. But like back when they were doing like 7 days and when they were doing like final
There was like 9
nines and-
rounds.
Yeah, when they're doing all this stuff, like you don't really leave any ability of like someone that just gets hot and has a good couple days.
That's the thing. I never liked it as a tournament format, but that's the one thing I liked about it that separated worlds.
The best player
was
always
gonna
win. But if you're a fan, you kind of like the Cinderella story kind of gets like cut out because
but
it's like
the world. If we're gonna put a world title, I think the Cinderella story should be cut out.
But I think 4 rounds is plenty of rounds.
It still leaves room for a fluke.
You can't say it's a fluke.
You
I'm
can't
just
say a
saying,
fluke, but it leaves room for a.
But like if you're gonna do 7 rounds, why not do 12? Why not do 15? Why not do?
Well, like I said, I don't like it as a tournament format. I'm just thinking if you're calling worlds, something needs to happen to separate it. Something.
Well, I just think you just play it on.
But
a
like
really
back in the
freaking
day,
hard
you go back to
course.
2015.
7 rounds is too long.
You go back to 2015 Worlds. Paul won. I don't remember how many rounds it was, but they had the final 9. Round 1, or I think it was by round 1 or round 2. After one of those 2 rounds, he's out of it. Everyone knows he's out of it. There's no chance. And then he goes course record, tied course record, or something like that.
But you're not out of it if there's 7 rounds and you have 2 bad rounds.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is like there's the Cinderella story was Paul winning his 3rd in a row at the time because
Sure.
he was completely out of it, and then going into the final 9, which is the only 9 holes I got to watch that year. going into the final 9, he was a victory lap. There was no one that could touch him.
You were watching that?
I saw the final 9 live. Yeah, that was
Okay.
my first disc golf tournament I watched live.
Okay, were you paying attention to? Were you there the
Yeah,
whole tournament?
No, I
Okay.
flew in for the final 9.
So were you paying attention like every day? Round 1, round 2,
No, this
round
was the
3,
first time
round
I ever
4?
got into disc golf. That was the first tournament I ever followed.
Okay.
And all I knew was Paul was winning.
That's an interesting debate down the road of like, how many rounds is too many rounds?
I think 4 is where it should be.
Because like 7 rounds, like how
No,
are
yeah,
you
it's too
getting?
much.
How are you getting people
What
like
do they do in
engaged?
golf?
4.
But there's no
4?
world championship.
Well, yeah.
There's no like
No.
Right.
the Masters, I guess, is like
Don't you
the
have like
holy
the
grail
big
of a
4?
title. But
Isn't that a thing?
The what?
The big 4 or like the
well,
big
there's
3?
four.
What the
there's
heck
4
is the Big
majors.
4?
Are you talking about like the big
Majors.
4 like major sports?
Football,
No, dude, the
basketball.
That's the only time I've ever
the
heard it. I think it's Big
tournaments.
5 sports
Okay.
of
Wait,
like
what?
I think there's 5 big sports.
NHL, MLB, NFL, NBA,
UFC,
No.
FIFA.
NHL. Did I already say NHL?
I think
I don't
there's
know.
4.
There might be 4. Those are like the major sports
College
in the US.
basketball.
Regardless, I don't even know how we started. I agree. 4 rounds is as much as a major should be. I just think like if you're calling something a world title, I didn't mind the idea of at least having something to separate it. If we're gonna put as much weight as we do on one title,
Yeah.
that's the whole issue to me. Is like
That's why I think
The
it should
whole
just be a
weight-
time thing. That's the easiest
Sure.
way of doing it. Just like every
Biannual.
other year.
Sure, that works too.
That's the easiest way. Nothing, no drastic changes. It also gives 2 years for like they'll know. I mean, obviously down the road, hopefully, like let's say if a world championship is happening in 2026, they should already know that they're hosting it now.
Yeah.
Like down the road, you'd want that, but it gives you plenty of time to like. I don't know. And I think also just not having it every year gives the world champion a little bit more like they hold it for a little bit longer, build up. I think that would be I mean, obviously right now I'm probably getting roasted in the chat as like that's a stupid take because, everyone loves seeing the world championship every year. It's the most exciting thing. But
Yeah.
imagine how big of a tournament it would be if it didn't happen every year and it was every other year, how exciting it would be and how like
Well,
it would just feel
Worlds shouldn't be a major. It should be its own
thing.
tier.
Yeah.
Of like you have the world championship and then you have our 4 majors throughout the year. And it's like USDGC, European Open, Champions Cup, and the tournament.
All right. Let's talk real quick about Dana White, Jake Paul diss track. Did anyone see it?
I watched it after you said we're going to talk about it tonight.
Okay.
I've heard about it.
So the only thing I kind of want to bring this up is at what point, because fighter pay, I mean, basically this has been an issue with the UFC for a while. And, Jake Paul, obviously, I think there's lots of motives of why Jake Paul is doing this. I do think he actually generally cares about trying to get money to some of these people. I also think he, anytime he can dunk on Dana White, he's going to take that chance.
Yeah.
But at what point does disc golf fall into this as well with the payouts? At what point? At what point do fans, do players,
Is the UFC a for-profit organization?
Yeah.
See, that's where it gets interesting because, like, I believe the Pro Tour is as well. And what's interesting is, like, their whole business model and the UFC's whole business model, nothing wrong with this business model, is to create these events, create these experiences, put everything in there and make it as profitable as possible as a business.
Mm-hmm.
Issue that can happen, and if what Jake Paul in his song was saying is true, what can happen is if the top heads get greedy enough, then they can basically use the players, the fighters, the whatever. This isn't happening in disc golf. But in UFC, you can use the fighters, you can use however, and basically give them what feels like a lot of money. But really, to you, it's chump change. You'd blow your nose in that because you're able to just, hey, $10,000 if you get in the ring, and then you make $50,000 off of them stepping in it alone when you don't even factor in everything else, and that's probably not even the ratio. It's probably way higher.
Yeah. Is there like a like that? I guess that's the question of like, is there like a formula? Is there a ratio, if you will, of like how much money players, whether it's in disc golf or UFC or whatever, are making versus the event? Like, obviously,
I don't think there's ever a right answer, because I think the right answer is every other. I know the NFL or the PGA Tour. I think the right answer is the sports league being a nonprofit.
yeah. Well, the PGA Tour is a nonprofit.
I don't know if the NFL and those are.
I don't know if the NFL.
But the
and
NFL
stuff
one's
is not.
interesting because
It's
teams
different
make
'cause
the profits.
teams. Yeah, the teams are the ones that are doing.
So
it.
you have to look at something like the PGA.
You gotta look at the PGA Tour being a
and
nonprofit.
I think that's the smartest way to go about it, because a nonprofit allows you to get the money you need to cover your expenses. You pay the people that need to run it, but you aren't in this situation where
trying to make as much money as possible.
And there's no right answer realistically, because like Dana White deserves to get paid for creating the UFC so fighters can even get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's basically going to be up to each person watching as to how much Dana White deserves. And if Dana White takes more or less than that, then there's going to be people upset at him. So like you can pay the UFC fighters more, but the fact that Dana White is making a profit and the UFC is making a profit off of them, there's always going to be people that say that's not enough. But you can't really put a number on what is enough.
Yeah, no, it's tricky. And I mean, obviously the Disc Golf Pro Tour have been pretty upfront with their numbers as far as like their subscription service to the Disc Golf Network and stuff. And so I'm curious, and this is more like maybe a question for the people listening and stuff. So you can tweet us at Debate Night Pod on Twitter, or you can hit us up in the comments here on the YouTube channel. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are as far as like, you hear the numbers of how much money the Disc Golf Pro Tour is making, and then you look, or even like you start seeing more and more sponsors coming in or whatever it may be, and you start thinking like, okay, there's a lot of money going in, and the purses aren't really moving. Now, there hasn't been any, like, I'm just saying right now, there hasn't been any signs of this. Like, the purses are moving in the right direction.
Yes.
You saw like sponsorships and stuff. Big name companies coming to the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, and they're giving away a lot of cash there. The question is just kind of like down the road, will there ever come a time and place where we start seeing like people kind of like forgetting about it a little bit, and the money's like just kind of.
Well, I mean,
like USDGC, for example, right? Like USDGC, separate from the Disc Golf Pro Tour, you look back the last 10 years, and the money has kind of like
fluctuated a little bit.
Fluctuated where you'd think it'd be like a slow incline. So it's something to think about.
Yeah, I think that right now it's pretty, unless something's changed, it's been like publicly said multiple times that the Pro Tour isn't turning a profit yet for another few years is their plan. They're just reinvesting everything, and they're okay with operating without a profit. Once they start turning a profit, which they should, they're a business, and that's good for the future of the sport. Again, I think it's just going to be up to each personal preference, because you don't want to operate on too razor thin of margins, because then one event doesn't bring in enough money and you collapse. But then you don't want to operate on too big of margins, because then you have the speculation of all the players who are making you that money of like they might not now come play your events because you're making too much money. So it's like this perfect balance, but even when you're right in the middle of whatever that percentage is, there's going to be people that are upset. But realistically, I think what happens is, or what should happen is, as they're a private business, the money numbers already aren't super public. They're going to get probably less public unless there's like some big time deal to where until like public companies start getting involved of like they're sponsoring the event, most people probably won't know what the title sponsorship costs X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
And so if you don't know, this isn't how it's happening. But if I'm gonna just pick a brand I see, Apple, if Apple paid $2 million to be the title sponsor of the Pro Tour Championship, and the Pro Tour Championships announced a $500,000 pro purse.
I
chose a public company, which goes against what I was saying.
Well, I'll cut you off real quick. I do think the title sponsor and stuff like that, I do think they work with the tour with the purse. So
yeah.
I feel like Apple would say like, hey, we're going to give $2 million to sponsor this, and we want 70% of that to go into the purse.
Yeah, they might. But what I'm saying is,
there's probably is some conversation there.
Sure. But I'm just saying, when numbers aren't public, the public doesn't know what actually goes on. So like there might never be a question because you might not know that, oh, this event brought in $5 million. This is 30 years from now, brought in $5 million and the purse got $1 million of it.
Yeah, the winner got $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If 10 years from now we're in that spot still and disc golf's grown exponentially, then yeah, we can rightfully ask questions.
Do we?
Right now, I don't think there's any reason to even think about that.
Do we think that there will ever be a competitor to the Disc Golf Pro Tour? Do you ever think anyone will look at, wow, like I could do better than what the Disc Golf Pro Tour is doing? Or
I think there'll be at least an attempt. The same year the Pro Tour launched, there was the Disc Golf World Tour that launched as well, and that had a 1-year stint, possibly 2-year, back in 2016. I mean, realistically, the Pro Tour was in a way launched as a competitor to the National Tour, whether I don't think it was marketed that way, but you can't look at it and say it wasn't because now it's overtaken it. There will always be like different things that come up as a challenger or whatever you want to call it. I think it's more susceptible to it right now because realistically,
hasn't been established long enough.
Yeah, so realistically, right now, there's not a ton of prestige around being the Pro Tour champion versus if there was a tour that came up and the winner of the entire tour got $500,000 cash. I mean, players would almost be dumb not to play it.
Yeah.
So that's where it would be tough early. 10 years from now, if the Pro Tour is the only one standing, it's going to be a lot harder to challenge them because then they're the ones that everything flows to. But I think there will be at least someone that tries to do it as disc golf gets bigger, because if an outside company came in, I'm sure they could look at disc golf and be like, hey, we could invest X amount and do X, Y, or Z better. And if they thought that it was worth their time and investment,
that would be a crazy time in the sport where like players are having to pick and choose.
Yeah, like are you going to be on the Nike tour or are you going to stay on the Pro Tour?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. What are you doing?
But ultimately, it comes down to like, well, not necessarily money, but if you're making more at one tour, you're obviously going to play in that tour. So if a company or if a tour, if you're making more on the whatever tour.
Yes and no, though.
It depends on the ratio. Right now, I think it's true because, like I said, if you could go play, if the Japan Open happened tomorrow and it was a part of some new tour, and the winner is going to get $300,000 in the current state of disc golf, there might be one or two players in disc golf that are like, no, I'm taking a stand, being loyal to the Pro Tour, but $300,000 is a drastic, life-changing amount of money.
Oh yeah.
If you're making $100,000 if you win a Pro Tour event, and someone comes in and offers $300,000, and then you're gonna see a lot more people like, no, I'm loyal to the Pro Tour because I'm already living comfortably.
Right. The real like first question I would say is like the European Tour because that already exists.
Yeah, the European Pro Tour.
What you're seeing a lot of European players, come out their schedule saying that they're gonna come over and they're gonna do basically Vegas and the Texas swing, and I think then go back and then come back maybe. But that would be another real interesting thing down the road is, what if the European Tour all of a sudden started like every tournament the winner got $25,000? Like how many people? Because right now we're thinking about. I think we were all thinking about like, what if another tour in the United States happened? That is like, okay, are you willing to pick up your life and move it to a different country?
Yeah,
or a different continent, really?
For the right price.
Well, yeah, and I think that'll be interesting to see because right now you don't see any United States players go over to the European Tour.
Right.
You see everyone go over here, but what if over there it started taking off? They started marketing it, the exposure. Like, what if they got? Like, that's the other question. Like, what if the European Tour, since it is, in some of these areas, Finland, Estonia, some of these areas, it's a really, really big sport. What if the European Tour got some sort of like FS1 deal, and now all of a sudden, like you can actually, your live coverage is now on TV over there. Like our players,
pretty sure some of it is.
Our players, well, I think it's over like local, not international stuff.
No,
I'm talking about like if
stuff.
it was like international.
Yeah.
Similar to like you can see a lot of the European Tour events in golf over here in the States. Like that would also be a wild thing of like how many people are like, I want to go over there because I'm going to get more exposure. Because I think that's the other thing is like the money thing. Sure, if you're going from $10,000 to $300,000, everyone's probably going to $3,000. But if you're going from like $100,000 to 125, but the $100,000 has more exposure, like there's a lot of different variables that go into it. So
the European Tour is a great point. But it is interesting because the Pro Tours, I think they have a Pro Tour in Europe this year, don't they? Or Silver Series?
Yes, the Sula will be a Silver Series event.
Yeah. And so the Pro Tour is starting to, dip their toes in European water, to where I think the Pro Tour's plan is probably to have like 1 or 2 stops over there within the next few years. From what it seems like to me, it seems like the Pro Tour is eventually going to be a tournament most weekends of the year, and playing a full tour is making it to like 20, 25 of them.
Yeah.
To where like no one's playing every Pro Tour the entire week, like every single one. Because that, I could be mistaken, but isn't that kind of how golf works? Like golfers don't play every single PGA Tour event.
The top guys don't.
Yeah.
Some of the people that like
if you're grinding it out,
yeah.
Sure. Because I mean, I've heard of some tour winners and they'll mention an event and I'm like, what the heck is that? And they'll be like, oh, that's because no one was there.
They also have like what they consider like their AB events. They don't market them that way, but there are some events like the WGC, which is the World Golf Championships. That's like its separate kind of thing, and I think there's a couple of those a year, and that's outside of the PGA Tour. So I think like the top 50 or 60 players, I want to say, go to those WGC events because those are the only people that can qualify for them. So then the PGA Tour event that's going on that same weekend is pretty much just like everyone else.
I got
so like that's where like you can kind of sneak a win,
sneak a tour win,
yeah. So
get that bonus money.
All right, real quick, I just want to hear your guys' opinion. I thought this was interesting. I asked this on Twitter before we started. I can't remember who tweeted this to me, but they want to know, which I thought was a good question. Would you rather? We'll go with Silas first. Would you rather play a course that is 100% sand? Okay, so you're basically playing in the desert.
Yeah.
Okay, or play in a course where it's 100% like up a mountain. So you're just always going
like always uphill.
Every shot, everything's uphill.
That's the easiest.
Oh, I'm going sand.
Yeah, every time I'm going.
You're going desert sand.
I'm going. It's gonna be hot. All right, it's gonna be hot, but I'll get through it.
We're just playing 18 holes.
Yeah.
100. Why would anyone not choose sand? What's the argument against
uphill?
Sand?
Just sounds like it's the worst.
It is the worst. You can't throw the disc as far.
No,
you're constantly
you lose
hiking.
so much distance.
I'm thinking
you're out of breath all the time.
I'm thinking though. I'm thinking might want to do the mountain.
No, you haven't played enough mountainous courses. That's what it is.
Well, I'm thinking. Like,
go play 5 rounds at Camp Hideaway and 5 rounds out at a beach course at the Outer Banks, and come back to me and tell me the same thing. You won't.
I guess in my vision, my mind, like if we're saying like, okay, because a mountain course technically, right? If you said, hey, you're playing a mountain course, technically it doesn't have to be all uphill. But he said uphill.
Said all uphill.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I also feel like I should have said this. I feel like the sand has to be soft sand.
That's fine too.
Yeah.
Throw a standstill.
You're 100% soft
I'm
sand?
100% soft sand.
I'm going soft sand.
100%. Flat, soft
Are
sand.
you wearing shoes? Are you shoeless?
No, I'm wearing shoes. I'm wearing disc
You're
golf
wearing
shoes.
shoes, so you got sand in your shoes?
No.
You don't have sand.
I am
How do you not have
shoes?
How do you not have sand in your shoes?
It doesn't matter. My legs aren't burning, or my lungs aren't burning from hiking a mountain for 18 holes.
I mean, I've hiked mountains. It's not that exhausting.
But you're throwing a disc, and now the disc hits a tree and it rolls down the mountain. You got to walk back down and then throw it back up. And now your throw that was going 500 feet is only going 250 feet.
What if there's snow
It's
on the
demoralizing.
mountain? What if there's snow on the mountain?
Someone made a good point. Sand is boring. That is a pretty boring course. You're just playing in a desert.
No, a mountain course is only exciting.
You're just playing in a desert. Every hole is the same. It's just different distance.
You're throwing uphill. Every hole is the same.
Yeah.
No, different trees. There could be rocks on a mountain. There could be waterfalls.
Look,
I could be throwing through a
not an
waterfall.
argument.
There could be a sand dune.
It's not an argument.
Sand dunes are lame unless you're boogie boarding down.
It's not an argument whether both courses aren't going to be fun. It's which one can I get on and off of faster.
I don't think I'm also dying on a mountain course.
You're not dying on the sand course. It's a disc golf course. It's an hour and a half, and there's a parking lot because you got there. You're bringing water.
There's a parking lot.
Like you're not just dropped in the middle of the desert and it's like play 18 holes or you die.
That is true. It's not a Bear Grylls. Or
No. Like, it's a
Hey,
disc golf
there's
course.
some obstacles. You maybe have some cactus, some tumbleweeds. You know, you got stuff out there.
I don't know. I think I'm on the mountain though.
Uphill.
I feel like I can actually see.
The
Brody's on the
only
mountain.
good uphill hole
I
is
feel
the
like-
one that leads to a downhill hole.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking the holes will look different. Like I'll look like, okay, I'm doing something. Like, oh wow, look, I can see clouds now in this hole. Like the desert, the sand, every hole's the same. I'm bored. Why am I playing that course?
Why are you playing either course?
Also, I have sand in your shoes.
That's the real question.
Yeah,
That's
really.
the real question here.
Sand in your shoes. I don't think you guys realize how bad sand in your shoes is.
It's an
now you're
hour
trying to
and a
play
half.
but now you're trying to play disc golf with sand in your shoes.
Standstill shots.
Bring another pair of shoes.
You can still go
Dump
barefoot.
'em out.
You'll get sand.
You can still go
You're
barefoot.
gonna take your shoes off every time and dump them out.
Why can't you go barefoot
sounds
3 holes in
terrible.
if it's miserable?
You're gonna have blisters all over your feet. Have you ever walked in soft sand?
I have walked an hour on the beach before. Yes.
Soft sand. Soft.
Yeah, I mean the top of the sand
Like where
is
you're
soft.
pushing and it's just like
Yeah, it's called the beach.
no, like I'm not like a beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've played beach
yeah.
volleyball games for more than an hour.
Yeah, your calves will be on fire.
And you know what? It was a heck of a lot more fun than playing uphill disc golf holes. The uphill disc golf course is also going to take you like 3 hours. It's going to take you twice
Your
as long.
legs are
going to
be burning so bad.
Okay, how about this? When you guys are done with your round, guess what? You don't get any good Instagram story photos.
That means nothing
I'm on
to me.
top of a mountain. I get a sick Instagram
No,
story.
you either have your
and then
wooded.
I, and
you
then I
either have
ride
your,
the gondola down to my car.
You either have
park.
your wooded disc golf course, or you have the mountain selfie. You don't get both.
Well, no, I've eclipsed the mountain. I'm above the tree line. I'm at the top. I'm at the peak. I don't know.
Enjoy your, people who watch your Instagram story. I don't know how many people to say. For me, I was gonna say like 1,000 people.
It's a little more than that.
I'll be laying on the beach while you still have an hour left in your round, sweating it out.
I love that you think you're on the beach. You're in the desert. Okay, you're like you got pyramids around.
Well,
you.
it just said
I
sand.
have time to drive from the desert to the beach.
You're not going to drive when you have that much sand in your shoe. I can tell
Who
you that
says
right
you
now.
can't have a golf cart or an off-road
Well,
Oh,
buggy?
good
That's not
luck
the
trying
argument.
to drive
Hey,
a golf
off-
cart.
no.
drive a golf cart through soft sand.
That wasn't
See
the
how
argument.
you do that.
no, an off-road buggy.
That
Like,
wasn't the argument.
one of those.
Oh, 4x4? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
one of
yeah.
those. Roll up to every hole.
So I have that too. A mountain course is gonna be
I
way
just know I'm
cooler
gonna
play.
have more fun playing in the sand.
That's not true.
100%.
That's not true. All right.
I have played more mountain golf than anyone would ever want to, and it
Where are you
sucks.
going playing mountain golf?
I'm just thinking of uphill holes in the woods all around
That's
here.
not mountain golf.
Oh, someone called it Ironman disc golf.
I think that's a real thing.
I mean,
I feel like
Ironman
I've
is.
seen something like that
Sounds
on
fun.
ESPN The Ocho a long, long time ago. All right. Last thing here before we get into some calls. Let's talk Formula One. I know I hate Formula One.
but you don't anymore.
I thought I hated Formula One.
Have you watched the show?
I'm like 6 episodes in. I'm
Oh.
all in. I'm all in.
It's pretty thrilling, right?
It's very good.
Man.
It's very good. So Formula One, I want to talk a little bit about this and just kind of see if there's any correlation between Formula One and disc golf. I did ask in our Discord, if you guys aren't on the Foundation Discord, you need to check that out. But I asked in the Discord, anyone know about Formula One? Talk to me. Because when you're watching the Netflix series, it's very, very, very focused on the cars and manufacturers and like sponsor side of things. Very focused on that. And obviously, yes, they do talk and have interviews, and yes, the drivers themselves are highlighted in the show. But if it was any other sport I can think of, they're not nearly talking as much about the behind the scenes people, the car.
Yeah.
Like, they're not doing that much. And so my question was, in the show, a thing that hits multiple times is the cup, like the I think it's called the manufacturer's cup.
Constructors.
Constructor's cup.
Yeah.
And essentially, for those that don't watch Formula One, I'll give it to you real quick. There are 10 teams. There are 2 cars / drivers per team.
Yes.
The top 10 finishers in each race score points for their team.
Mm-hmm.
And teams are basically, for the most part, like the car manufacturer. Now, obviously, there are some like Red Bull, Haas. I also don't think is a
That's
manufacturer.
just Gene Haas is a billionaire.
Yeah.
So he
Don't
has
they
his own
just
team.
sponsor their car though?
No, so there's Ferrari. Ferrari owns a team.
They're
Mercedes-
a company. Realistically, the team's a company.
Yes. So you basically, when you're watching this Netflix series, like they talk about those points so much.
Yeah.
But then there also is a driver that will end up getting the most points over across the season, and they will end up winning. And Lewis Hamilton, for example, is like the one that has the most right now. I think it was 6 in a row potentially, but he's done them all with Mercedes, who has also won a whole bunch of the Constructors' Cup. So my question is, like, as a fan, when you're watching, are you really paying attention to, oh my God, Ferrari, like if they get 5th in this race, they can like move up a spot? Or are you really just like fans of drivers or fans of cars, whatever it may be, but you're focusing more on the race and the finishing of like where people go in the race and not so much on the Constructors' Cup, which the Netflix show really highlights?
I think the Constructors' Championship is what's the most highlighted. I think it's different.
In
I think,
Netflix.
No, I
but
think in general.
on the fan base, the couple people that talked to me said that it's not as popular.
I think
I
there's
think
two
it
types of
depends.
fans.
Exactly. I think there's U.S. fans who, any pro sport, are very attracted to
McLaren's also a big one.
Yes. Yeah.
attracted to players, and therefore you're attracted to Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, whatever his name is, Daniel Ricciardo. You're attracted to the player, the driver. How I know the Constructors' Championship is what is the most valuable is because of how the actual team's treated, where they will tell a driver to lose a race because it makes more sense for the Constructors'
team.
Championship for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they made more off of having drivers be successful X, Y, or Z.
Well, this is my question exactly. Formula One is setting up, and it seems like they do a lot of things that put a lot of the emphasis on that.
Mm-hmm. That's where it's different from disc golf, if there was ever that correlation coming.
How so, though? Because I do think disc golf, they put a lot of emphasis on
No.
the manufacturer.
Fans do, but for no reason. Because the manufacturer at the end of the day is a sponsor. This is actually a team sport.
I know, but think about like what you're just saying. This is a team sport. There is Team Discraft. There is Team Innova. When in fact they're like that's what I'm
certain
saying.
degree.
They're
There's
not
a certain
working
degree.
they're not working together towards a common goal.
Exactly. So the team, that's why
That
they
is
show
true.
that's why they
That
show
is
so much
true.
behind the scenes, because the team isn't the 2 drivers. The team is the whole pit crew.
Yeah, hundreds of people.
If you look at when you're watching the show, there's constantly people talking about like, all right, you're in P. Oh, I was saying you're tied for whatever position. You're back 5 seconds. Push now. All right, time to box. Time to whatever. They constantly are telling these people it's a whole team effort for the one driver. That's why it's a team focus. Versus Bob or whoever on the team manager isn't calling you and be like, hey, you're in hole 16. You're 3 back of the lead.
No, I know.
Time to push.
Yeah, obviously.
They're also obviously aren't like, all right, Brody's putters are a little dirty. Let's take it, wipe it up, and give it back. It's not a team. It's an individual sport with sponsors.
Yeah, pit stop.
Yeah, let's
That's
not.
the other thing is Mercedes isn't a sponsor of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton works for Mercedes as a driver. If Mercedes dropped Lewis Hamilton tomorrow, he's on a whole different team.
I get what you're saying.
Wait, say that
He's
again?
like LeBron James is with the Lakers. The Lakers don't sponsor LeBron James.
He's like employed by them.
Like LeBron James
plays
basketball for the Lakers.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You don't play disc golf for Discraft. If Discraft dropped you tomorrow and no other sponsor picked you up, you'd still be a touring player.
Play.
Yeah.
Versus if Lewis Hamilton gets dropped and no one else
picked
picks
him
up,
he's off the.
He's not in there.
He's not in it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's a team
true,
sport.
True. Yeah, no, there are definitely more differences than similarities for sure. I'm not saying that at all, especially when you look on the actual like side of like what's important for the team and what they're trying to do. My thing was more the comparison of again, you have to you can't go and look at I just don't think that many people look at fans wise. And again, you might be right. Americans might be different than Europeans in this, but I don't think that many fans look at Formula One as a team like Ferrari. Maybe not though, because if you show up
at the
yeah,
Ferrari's home race,
yeah,
everyone's decked out in Ferrari.
And everyone's like waving the
yeah,
Ferrari
they don't
flag.
care who's driving for
You're
Ferrari.
right.
Ferrari
Yeah.
sucked that year.
No, you're right. You're right. Now I think about it, you're absolutely right.
Ferrari was trash that year.
There's
and
way
they were still
more
decked in Ferrari.
There's way more people like waving Ferrari flags than there are people like wearing. But then again, like I think it is also. I think
it's
hear
just
me
like
out.
all professional sports.
No,
you
no,
have,
no, it's not.
Yes,
I think
you have LeBron fans who become fans of Miami, the Lakers, whoever he's with, and then you have Cleveland fans.
No, but here go to a college is a little bit different. I was gonna say Duke, but go to because college is different. But let's what's the nearest NBA team here?
Charlotte Hornets.
Okay, go to I don't even know who's on that team.
LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
Terry
probably the
Rozier.
most-
so okay.
LaMelo
Don't
Ball.
tell me about Terry Rozier. If you go to a Charlotte Hornets game, my guess would be there would be a considerable amount of people wearing
LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball. I mean, this is a terrible example because he's not that popular. Let's do Golden State. If you go into a Golden State game, there's going to be tons and tons of fans wearing jerseys of Curry, Thompson, Green, right? There's going to be tons of fans wearing jerseys like that. And then obviously there will be other people that have a Warriors hoodie or a Warriors t-shirt or whatever. I think Formula One, the way they have it set up is there really isn't like, you don't go and see when Ricardo was driving for Red Bull, I didn't really see. And again, I'm seeing it from Netflix's perspective. So I could be completely wrong here, but whenever they show crowd shots and stuff, you didn't really see like personalized drivers stuff. It was very like team oriented. So it'd be like showing up to a Warriors game and no one is wearing a Steph Curry jersey. They're wearing a generic Warriors jersey, similar to like Ferrari flags or McLaren or whatever it is. So I just think that's kind of how Formula One set up. We're going on a crazy, crazy tangent here, and I know. My thing was I was just curious as, do you think kind of the sport can almost construct a way of how fans should be cheering or rooting for certain things?
Could disc golf?
Could anything?
Yeah,
Could they kind of construct it to where?
I mean, Discraft has a stacked team right now, so you might have more people.
I'm just
with
saying, like
Discraft shirts than whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe if like one team, if one manufacturer just.
It would just
thought
take,
that was the first time I saw Formula One, so I'm just kind of blown away. There might be a bunch of people listening being like, I've known about Formula One my whole life. You're an idiot. I was just kind of blown away with the whole notion of that whole sport. Because it's
definitely
a unique sport.
More
It's
popular
it's
in
very
Europe.
unique.
It's an individual sport to a certain degree,
with a team,
but with a
aspect.
huge team aspect to where
But then
the
it's
individual
also-
will sometimes be asked to, hey, you're in second. It's going to make more sense for you to kind of box out third and stay in second than try to push against your teammate to win.
I think we maybe need to have someone call in that
Maybe.
knows more about Formula
Someone
One.
call in. Twitter
I thought you were going to
Space.
ask about points, so I had all the points pulled up of who won what, and
Oh, did you?
yeah, that's what all
Give
my
me some
research
points.
was.
Give me
Well, I
some
was just saying,
points.
like, for how they do it is they award points to the player, the driver, and the manufacturer.
Aren't they
the
equivalent?
team.
Like
No.
first place?
Yes, yeah. The points are, but they won't be equivalent.
Because I think 22 is the most you can get, right?
25.
If
Winner receives 25, second gets 28, and then it goes 15, 12, 10, 8,
Wait,
6,
say
4,
it-
2,
wait.
1.
Wait, you said first gets 25, second gets 28. That makes
18.
sense.
25, 18,
Okay.
15, 12, 10,
But wait,
8,
no,
6, 2,
that
4, 2,
that's
1.
if you get first and second, you get 25 points.
This just says the winner. The winner receives 25 points, second place finisher 18.
But
You
that's
also get
that's for
a-
individual.
This says points are awarded to the drivers and teams based on where they finish in the race. The winner receives 25 points, second place finish receives 18, so on and so forth.
So does that mean
One
if you get-
additional point is awarded to the driver and team with the fastest lap of the race if they finish in top 10 positions.
Oh, dark horse.
But then, so
I
you
thought I
have
heard them say something that they said like the most points you can win, like a team can win is 22. And my thought was like, okay, you get first, gets you like 12, second gets you 10. So your team gets 22 points.
No, you could win more.
Because I did look up if you can get double points. Like, so if both your guys finish in the top 10, you get double.
That's
points.
what I was gonna say. Because Mercedes gets the constructors championship with 613 points. Red Bull was second with 585, but it's because
Lewis Hamilton got 300 and something.
Well,
points.
Max got one last year in 2021.
Wait, no spoilers.
This isn't in the show.
Okay.
This season hasn't come out yet. This season's what's about to come out.
Max won last year?
Max won for Red Bull
Honda,
Racing Honda with 395. Hamilton was second at 385. But then this other Mercedes driver, which I don't know who they were last year.
Bottas?
It starts with BOT. They only have their first three letters of their last name.
Yeah, it's gotta be Bottas.
He came in third with 226. And then you had the other Red Bull driver at 190. So that's why Red Bull came in second. Versus Mercedes because they were able to get second and third.
See, that's curious too. I would love to know, like, does Mercedes, do they think that's a win?
Yeah, that's a win.
They would rather win that
Mercedes would rather have a constructors championship
than what Red Bull have, where it's like you have the number one driver.
Yeah, because the number one driver means nothing if you didn't win the constructors championship.
So Red Bull,
that's like having the MVP but losing the championship.
Red Bull is a sponsor.
No, Red Bull is the team.
So Red Bull is the team. So what if a company outside a manufacturer had a disc golf team?
Well, there's no disc golf teams. That's the whole point.
Yeah, you can't have a team.
Okay.
Get lit.
You'd have to change. You'd have to change everything. That's what I'm saying.
True.
Because that would be what's interesting is if there was like some type of scenario where, Discraft is calling, like, is in this scenario as a team, Discraft going to the final day is like, hey, it's more important for you to stay in third place than for you to try to push to beat Paul for the win and end up in fifth place. That's what F1 does.
This will explain it perfectly. And I think this was my point. F1 is very, very interesting because Lakers, Patriots, you look at any other team, like that's a made-up team, and they get sponsors and stuff like that. Soccer, I'm going to say they still have, like, they might do they put their sponsor in their name sometimes? I don't know enough about soccer.
No, like Manchester United wore the AIG back when.
But they don't. It's not thrown in their name.
No,
not
it's just
AIG United.
It's just on there. Okay.
Maybe in some there's so many soccer leagues that there might be a league that's
I don't know, I don't know if like
but
someone's
the
like the
Premier
Motorola.
League,
Okay. So
not that I know of.
This is where I think it comes in. Is like you see people showing up and rooting, like holding up Lakers flags or whatever like that. F1 is wild because they're like showing up and holding. It'd be like them showing up and holding up like an Apple flag.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be like
the team is the actual sponsor.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, it's because the whole goal of F1 is to build the fastest car. That's the entire goal.
No, I know, but
so you want the fastest driver to be driving your car so it looks the fastest.
But it's not like Mercedes came up. Well, did they come up with a weird name? They wear that like pat. What is that P word on the back?
Might be one of the sponsors.
No, I think it's like a Mercedes. That's like the actual name of the team.
I'm not sure.
But like it'd be like Red Bull making up a random name.
Yeah.
And being like,
well, like Racing Point. Have you got to that part?
No. All right. I think we need calls.
Right.
Basically, a billionaire can build a car.
Patronus.
Yeah.
There's a guy in chat that's going to tell us all about F1 on Twitter Space.
We know nothing.
That's what he said.
We know very limited.
Yeah. But like,
but we're excited fans. Excited fans.
What I was saying was, there's a billionaire in one of the seasons you'll get to, and he just funds this crazy team.
No spoilers, man.
And it's called Racing Point. No reason for it to be called Racing Point.
Slight spoiler.
Yeah,
well, it's like Haas.
Dude.
You've seen Haas.
Yeah.
That has no correlation.
I will say,
like, you can name it what you want. It's just like if you're Mercedes or if you're McLaren, why are you calling it something other than Mercedes?
Do you see people in the crowd waving Haas flags?
Well, no, because they suck. I mean,
I will say though, this is like probably how like some like disc golfers feel when they first get into disc golf.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much to learn.
They're like, oh my god, give
probably
me all
because you see Team Discraft on the back of everyone's jersey, and you're like, where can I keep up with these teams?
Yeah.
Like, how do I find out who's on team?
You're like, give me all the overstable discs. I want to throw all those.
What if there was a team though?
Silence. Give up on it. Team
cool.
in disc golf would
like
not
if
be
there
cool.
was if there was an Apple team, like, oh, you're on the Apple team.
Well, okay, sorry. Here's another question, real quick, before we get into Twitter Spaces. Do you see? I might now be on. I was off on the Manufacturers Cup. I might be now on the Manufacturers Cup. You're off of it?
I'm off of it.
I feel like okay.
Why would I be on it?
Could be something cool to see, like how
fans would love it.
no, not like a tournament.
No, just like it throughout the season.
Yeah, you
keep up
you
with
get
it.
points. Like in the top 10,
It would be a
accumulate
fun
points.
thing to see. I would just hate it if it got to where it was like a prized thing, where it's like a
think it'd
very
be
important.
cool
No,
to
thing.
you get a trophy. Like the manufacturer wins, brings back that trophy to their warehouse.
It's not a team sport. It's the whole thing.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, fair.
Because then you might get into a weird situation.
Yeah, but it's also when you look at two drivers, I guarantee that driver is not thinking that the other dude's a teammate. Guarantee.
No, they do sometimes.
No.
That's why there's so much
They get
drama.
so pissed.
That's why there's so much drama
No,
because
they
they're
get
forced
pissed.
to. Yeah,
No, sometimes they don't
they're
listen.
forced
though.
to,
Sometimes they don't
All right.
listen.
and that's a good way to get kicked off the
Let's
roster.
make
Like,
disc
that
golf
happens.
teams now. Let's make disc golf teams.
Size, I'll make a team with you, man.
All right.
I just
All right.
don't like the idea.
I'll
of
be
teams.
your
Why isn't
your pit
if it's such
crew.
a good idea? Why isn't there a team tailor made?
I mean,
Like Team Titleist.
technically they do call
They call it
themselves
that, but why? But why isn't it treated?
Hey,
as
it's a young
team?
sport, man. They're growing.
All right, we're gonna start this. Join the Size join Twitter Spaces. We're starting it.
Can't tell me what to do, man.
I just did.
Wait, what?
Join on Twitter into
Oh,
their
me?
space. Debate night is on Twitter Spaces. If you guys want to tune in, go over on Twitter. Debate night pod. It'll be on there as well. We are should be good. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you want to get that set up for me, Hunter. Why I do this stuff?
Yeah, what's that up?
What? Get this thing set up.
It's ready. You want me to just unmute it?
What?
What do you?
Yeah, if I need to if I need to get unmuted or whatever. No, I haven't done anything yet. That's why I told Hunter to dark horse it. I don't know what I'm doing over there. I'm trying to do this stuff right here.
All right. You do you. I don't know what you're asking me to do. Your Twitter Spaces is running. You're on mute.
You want him to accept people?
Sure. I think we're in. Is everyone
Do you want
in?
me? You want me to unmute you? Is that what you want me to do? You're free now.
we do
Is
need-
is this turned up, Silas? The mic. All
We
right,
do
Silas
need
is
to
turning the
unmute
mic
so
up.
everyone can hear us. Okay, so I think we're all in here. Perfect. Everyone that's joining the Twitter Spaces, what is good? We are live right now on YouTube.com/Foundation Podcasts. If you want to tune in to that, I need to get this stuff off immediately. The closed captioning is kind of phenomenal, but at the same time, it's scary how good that stuff is getting since I'm like just talking live. And we got someone right here. I have no idea. Don't want to live in a. Do we want? We're gonna add this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guy's
Street
gonna
cred
do.
words.
We're gonna add this guy. See what he has to say.
All right. What do you got?
You're on the show. What's good, brother?
Nothing's good.
No,
Street cred words.
There we go.
How's it going?
Hey guys, so I don't know anything about F1 racing, but I wanted to bring something up to you, disc golf related. You can argue about it. It is about the idea of the asking to play through when
Mhm.
like you've got like a group and you want to play through. I think that disc golf should, instead of doing the playthrough, I've been trying to get my friends to do the horde, where both groups actually go together. Both groups join together, and then they play that hole together. And whichever group is best on that hole, that's the one who gets to go forward.
I mean, I hate that. The main time I've ever played through a group is I'm by myself and there's a group of like 5 people. And so if I show up to that group and Paul's in that group and,
they're like,
slaps me.
They're like, let's hoard it.
Yeah, and he slaps me around. You know, he eagles it and I par it. And they're like, all right, get behind us. And now I got a 5-hour round just watching them play the whole thing while I'm playing by myself.
You had me with Horde though, because I love Warcraft. Like that's one of my favorite games ever. So when you said Horde, I went straight to Warcraft, and I love it. I think that's a good idea if both groups, like if I like your idea in one scenario and one scenario only. If there's a group that thinks they're playing faster than the group in front of them, and the group in front of them thinks they're playing faster than their group behind them, then it's like a battle off, and it's like, all right, whoever wins this next hole gets to go ahead.
I feel like this is something I'd read about in my local
club
group.
I like that idea. I don't like the idea of like you have a foursome and a twosome, and the twosome's just standing and waiting, and they have to battle.
I wasn't thinking about it for like a twosome or a onesome, just because you'd have to be a total asshole
Yeah.
to do that. but like, yeah.
I like the battle idea when two people both think like, because there are some groups where you're on their butt and you're both playing in foursomes or twosomes or whatever. You're the same number,
like twosomes, yeah.
and then they start speeding up and they start playing quicker because they see that you're behind them, but you're still like pushing them. Like that's where I think it's like you need to wave a flag. Maybe we get a horde flag,
A challenge flag.
and you can wave
I
it.
think it's an awesome idea.
And you're like, let's battle to see who gets to go first. I like that.
Dope, dude.
All right.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks for calling in, man. Have a nice night.
Have a nice one.
Horde battle. Horde challenge. Gotta be careful with pronunciation.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to get that D in there.
Gotta be careful with the pronunciation here. Runa? That might not be their name.
Runaway Greg.
Oh, okay.
Only Runa showed up.
Sorry.
I've got a couple of things. One, I tweeted a while back that I said that this is the best disc golf podcast online right now, and I still stand by
I appreciate
that. Two, I played with your buddy Cole Sullivan over the weekend, and he's got a whole bunch of potential. I hope you spend some time with him because he's getting there, man. I think if you're able to make this trip up towards where he is now, I think you'll really be able to show him a couple of things when you see him in person. I've talked to you before. I'm not good at disc golf. Like, I'm not here to like tell him like what his form should be doing, but like if you get with him, Brodie, he's going places, and I'm not kidding about that.
Nice.
Three, this is an old topic from an episode like way back in September. The only time that ranch dressing is appropriate on a breakfast sandwich is a sandwich that I had from college, and it had eggs, bacon, ranch dressing, and mozzarella sticks on it. It's the only time it was appropriate.
Oh, that sounds really good.
That sounds pretty good.
That sounds really good. I did actually have.
When I heard ranch and breakfast sandwich, I was like, this can't go anywhere good. But you brought it back.
So I had my ranch meal that I normally like used to just throw a bunch of ranch on when I was actually in shape. I can't do that now because I'm cutting calories, but I had it before tonight's show, and it's just basically a pound of ground beef, 5 eggs. I threw some diced peppers in there a little bit today, which was nice, and a little cheese. You mix that all up together and you like drizzle some ranch dressing on it. And then if you want to go really like overboard, you get some like Tostitos chips or something, and you basically use it as as a dip, even though it's definitely not a dip, and it's phenomenal. But yeah, for me, I'm still a ranch dressing guy. I can literally go put it on pretty much almost anything.
Totally. I've had a handful of things that I've been writing down since you guys started the show, but you've touched on a lot of them, like Worlds being at the same place as one of the Pro Tour stops, and I know that we've talked about that before. But something that's a little more local, and you guys are kind of 4 hours away from us. I'm in Annapolis. You guys are about 4 hours when you were in Virginia. Mm-hmm. But, agree or disagree, the DMV area has totally gotten screwed this past year when it comes to the Pro Tour stops. The closest thing to us is that Silver Series in Lake Marshall, which they announced after the fact. From a viewership perspective, it's not good for our area. For the growth perspective, it's not growth for our area. Agree or disagree? And what do we do to help combat this as well?
I might be an idiot. I have no idea what the DMV area is. That's a place that I hate going. That's what I think.
Delaware, Maryland, Virginia.
Oh, that's like a thing? That's got to be like a northern thing. You've heard of that?
I've heard of it.
I've never heard of it. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard it regularly. I think it's more of a Nova thing, Northern Virginia, because the borders are all very close.
A lot of people say
up
Nova.
Yeah,
Northern
Northern
Virginia.
I think it's a Nova thing.
I've never heard of that either.
Well, Nova's like you have Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware are all like you could probably drive like 30, 40 minutes across.
Wait, how
three.
close is the Green Mountain Championships? Is that nowhere near you guys?
Vermont. That's Vermont.
That's a ways away.
That's 8 hours.
Yeah,
Gosh,
that's a ways away.
That seems like when I'm looking at a map, that seems like it's an hour drive.
Well, it's because the scale on a map's just weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you don't live up there and you don't know things, like I'm just looking at I live in Texas. Texas is massive.
Well, but to drive from one side of Texas to the other is like 15 hours.
Yeah, but that looks way bigger on a map than it is looking anywhere.
No,
in the
yeah.
Northeast.
Well, they just squish the
Well,
Northeast
just 'cause
together.
there's
when
less
it's not.
lines.
Yeah, I'm just saying the Northeast looks like you should be able to drive anywhere in 3 hours.
To the Pro Tour point, I think the issue that we're faced with is the Pro Tour as of right now starts on the West Coast and then just kind of like slowly makes its way to the Midwest and then eventually makes it to the East Coast and has to do all of it by October. And then when you get down to our neck of the woods, you're basically just coming to USDGC. What I would hope happens in the future is maybe it hits the East Coast twice or something along those lines, to where maybe it comes up from the south, or because I mean in the winter you couldn't come. So like if you started in like I don't know, the southeast somewhere, Georgia, Florida, somewhere in there, and you came up maybe into the Tennessee region, and then you went west, and then you came back around. Selfishly, I would love that. But I mean, I think that's kind of, it is what it is right now. Because they wanted to make the MVP Open in Green Mountain like the playoffs, which makes sense as events, and it wouldn't make sense to come, into the middle of the Southeast, into like Virginia or into Delaware or even Tennessee or West Virginia area, and then go up just to come back down. It's just the flow of it doesn't make sense right now. So they'd almost have to hit the East Coast twice for it to make sense.
Or you start in Florida, then go northeast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like start in Florida and end in the Northeast.
But then you end up coming back because the
well, yeah, you'd have to start Florida, go Midwest, go West Coast, come back Midwest, and Northeast.
Yeah,
is what you'd have to do for that to work. But
all right.
Yeah, I don't have the map up in front of me, but from Texas, do they go to DDO, or is that when the Silver Series heads
No,
over
we go over to Jonesboro. And then we work our way up a little bit, and then to DDO.
There's a random like jump to Georgia and back in April.
Yeah.
Championships Cup.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. There is that random like you pop over and back.
Yeah, there's a lot of driving that little section. So.
Well, 2021 was good with Delaware Disc Golf Challenge. It's unfortunate that it's not a national tour stop this year. I think they had some local issues over there.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully with the Silver Series at Lake Marshall, and I hope you do end up going, Brodie, I'll totally make the trip to come watch you play.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I really think that will be the pinnacle, and I hope that we can grow as a larger region upon that to, hopefully actually get one of the Elite Series stops more local to even you guys. I mean, granted, you guys are 4 hours away, but from everything that I see online, I think that the course that you guys just put up in Bedford, or that Paul Macbeth just put up in Bedford, is going to, it seems like that has potential to potentially become a stop at some point in time.
Heck yeah.
Hopefully so. The course is definitely capable. We'll just see if it ever makes sense.
All right, thanks for calling in, man.
Well, thank you, guys. Like I said, I hope you make your way up to Annapolis sometime, guys.
All right, appreciate it, brother. All right, we got not Ocho Cinco, we got Echo Cinco. Echo Cinco, what you got for us?
Hello, guys. Yeah, my name's Eric, and then my last name's Ochoa, so Echo is kind of the...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to talk to you guys. Been a big fan of you guys for a long time. The Build the Bag series between Brodie and Paul was kind of the first thing that got me into disc golf, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, what I got for you guys is I didn't have a big background in understanding how disc golf manufacturers ran their things or worked, and I was kind of like what you guys were saying earlier. Like I saw Team Discraft, Team Innova, and I just kind of assumed they're like, oh, one big team, but kind of learn more about it. So they're not really teammates; they're just kind of all throwing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I think that, if you guys know anything about like motorsports or anything like that, I guess you guys are kind of talking about Formula One earlier, but in motocross specifically, or supercross, I think it's a very interesting thing that could help disc golf in terms of how teams are formed or made, kind of, because in motocross you have specific guys that are run through teams that are all on the same manufacturer, meaning they all race the same kind of bike, but they all have their individual sponsors and teams through it. And the best way to describe that would be like there's like 5 or 6 guys that all ride it on KTMs, but they all have their own. They're all on their own team, so they all have their own sponsors. They all run on their own teams, and basically when they do, it would be like if Paul and Adam were all a part of a separate team. Like Paul and Adam Hammis were on separate teams, but they're both throwing disc craft. So it'd be like Paul is sponsored by, I don't know, like Monster or something random, and then Adam is sponsored by, has like his own sponsors. So I guess that would be. I was just wondering if you guys think that could be a route that disc golf could go down, in terms of the manufacturer versus the sponsorship thing.
How does the like points or season work? Like for someone driving or riding a KTM, like how does it play in? Is it just like another sponsor of their bike, or their actual like points?
So that's dependent on it. In Supercross, the points are individual. So even though KTM, so I think they do keep a tally of the manufacturer's points as well. So they'll say like, oh, KTM had the best season, but there's no like championship for the manufacturers at the end of the year. But as far as the points for like the standings, it's similar to like the Disc Golf Pro Tour points, where like it's individual based on races and performance.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of where disc golf is just if there was a function of keeping track. Because I mean, you have like Paul, he's been sponsored by Adidas, Celsius, and then Adam could be sponsored by Red Bull and Nike, and they can both coexist on Team Discraft because Discraft doesn't have ties to any of the other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, you have players with different bag sponsors, players with different retail sponsors, players with different sports sack sponsors, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool. I just think it's very interesting that like they literally call like they'll be like, oh, this guy is on, and they always have really weird names where it's like, you know, like Monster Energy Kawasaki or whatever is one of them. And then they'll have like another guy who's on like Team Thunderline Kawasaki or whatever. And so like, but they're both Kawasaki bikes and manufactured.
Oh,
it's
interesting.
They're separate teams and they're not teammates to each other. But there are like 2 guys that are on Team, you know, Monster Energy Kawasaki, and there are 2 guys that are on Team Thunderline. So those 2 guys are teammates, but the other guys are not. You know what I mean? But they're both
geez.
Kawasaki.
So it goes even deeper. So there'd be like a Celsius Discraft and a Red Bull Discraft.
That's where I was kind of sorry. I made a little.
Oh no, I was just I didn't wrap my mind around what you were saying.
I think again, a lot of this has to do with just the people with money and how they want to construct the sport, you know, being able to like, I don't think that would make sense ever in disc golf, but it sounds like it works in motocross. I'm wondering if that's just kind of how it's happened.
Yeah. Like how it's developed.
Yeah. Cause I don't see how that would make it sounds super confusing.
The only way that I could see it making sense in disc golf is like if like 2 big other sports manufacturers came in, like Nike and Adidas, and they said like, okay, we're gonna split Discraft between Nike and Adidas, and you can either be on Nike Discraft or Adidas Discraft, and like you would have like those 2 guys are doing like a team point standings against these 2 guys, but I don't know if that would ever make sense, like Brodie said. So
yeah.
So that's the only way that I could see it kind of working, but not really.
All right. Well, it's definitely interesting. It's always interesting hearing how other sports do things too, and trying to loop them into disc golf too. So we appreciate you calling in with the that aspect of it.
Yeah, thanks you guys. Keep up the good work. I love all the podcasts and stuff. So
Appreciate it. Have a nice night. All right. We got who is next? I haven't seen anyone raise their hand.
I don't know. Raise your hand if you got something you want to bring up.
Anyone got any debates? Raise your hand if you got something that you want to debate.
Raise your emoji hand, not your physical hand. We can't see that.
True. Silas can see everything now.
That's true.
You have to remember, Silas is always watching. Do we want to? Let's.
Looks like John.
Okay, we'll do this, and then we'll do the other $20. Did someone already get that?
It.
Someone already got that?
Yeah, someone got that. They posted in the chat. They got a green Hades.
Oh heck yeah! All right, we'll do another $20 gift card giveaway here in a second. All right, Astro John, you're on.
Yo, guys, I know you've talked about this before. The whole policing yourself in disc golf because there are no officials. I played a flex start mini tournament in San Antonio a couple months ago, and I really hated it because I signed up, and then I guess some of my friends saw what time slot I signed up for, and so they actually were on my card, which is cool for a casual round, but they were pretty obviously like stepping in front of their putt, here and there breaking some rules. And I ended up losing by a stroke and took second to one of my friends. So at what point is it not douchey to call your friend out for like a C tier flex event?
Jeez. That's tough. I think it's
when money's involved.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something has to be said.
Yeah, like it's
because you basically are showing up. In my mind, like a flex start C tier, whatever. A flex start in my mind is almost like you and 10 buddies show up to play poker, and you see someone's like cheating.
Yeah,
you're gonna call them out, being like, "Bro, I
guess it
depends.
My money." It depends on your friends, because like I would call you on a foot fault. Like if we were playing a tournament, I would 100% be like, "Bro, that's a foot fault."
I guess it depends on how close of friends you are.
That's what I'm saying. There might be some friend groups where, like, if you say that to the wrong person, they're never talking to you again. So I guess you got to just kind of weigh the positives and negatives of that situation. But if it's a card full of your friends, then, like, surely you can, if it's a legitimate rule call, you can call it. If it's a card and it's like you have one friend and there's, like, 3 other guys, it might be something of, like, you walk up to the other guy and be like, hey, just watch his foot in case he foot faults. And then just walk away.
Okay. I appreciate that. Hey, before I head out, Brodie, I love to get freaky zones. I have an ace with one. We need to get freaky drone in that same plastic, man.
Ooh.
Y'all keep it up.
All right. Appreciate it, brother. Take it easy.
Get freaky drone zone.
Take it easy. Get freaky drone zone. All right. Let's do this $20 giveaway, Silas. Throw it up there. $20.
$20 giveaway.
Boom. FoundationDisc.com. Check it out. Or if you don't even get it, still check out FoundationDisc.com. Full of all sorts of goodies for you.
We just added a bunch of P2s and MD3s today.
There you go. Loading it up always. All right. I do want to get Tomas, I believe is his name, because he said he wants to talk and tell us all the stuff that we got wrong about Formula One. So I'm ready to learn.
Go for it.
Tomas, Formula One expert.
Hello, you got me?
Yeah, we hear you. What's good?
Hey, how's it going? So I clicked on like the stream a little late. I came in right when Brody was talking about how he doesn't really see like people repping drivers as much as like teams, which I think is interesting perspective. I think it's definitely a little bit of both. You use the example of like Ferrari. I think that's one where like I feel like there's more fans of that specific team because Ferrari is such like an iconic team.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times if you see pictures from like the Italian GP, everyone there is a Ferrari fan. Whereas if you go to like race in either Holland or something like that, or the GP in the UK, there's a ton of either Hamilton fans or there's like a ton of Max fans, or even like if you go to Mexico, there's a ton of Sergio Perez fans. So it kind of depends on which.
What are they wearing? Like what? How would you know? Like what do they have gear that you can wear?
Yeah, so like you have like hats and stuff, shirts. Like Ricardo has his own like line now, stuff like that. I could see how it'd be like a little bit smaller. Obviously, like a big Ferrari flag with a giant like prancing horse is like a lot easier to see than like a hat with a number 44 on it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it's mostly like their numbers and stuff, or like do they have like individual logos as well?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it's probably something that's just like like I'm not looking. I don't know what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna watch an episode tonight, and I'm gonna look in the crowd to see if I can see.
Well, look up the logos before.
That's also probably a
you
smart
might not
idea.
see like the logos as much, but like specifically, like I saw someone in the chat say Orange for Max. Like that's huge. Like the Orange Army. Like at almost every single race, like there's one stand of like the bleachers that's just a bunch of orange like smoke that is being popped for that driver, for example. So it could be something as simple as that.
See, if I saw orange, I just immediately think McLaren.
I mean, orange, like the papaya thing is like McLaren's like color now, but the Orange Army is like for Max.
Yeah, That's wild. It's like if I was watching the Netflix show
Yeah,
and I saw orange, I'd immediately go, "Oh, there's a bunch of McLaren fans in the stands."
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. And I think the one other thing that I did want to speak to a little bit too was you were talking about which championship is like more important, either drivers or constructors.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a little of both. Like the constructors is the one that makes the team more money. Like that's where all the money is made. Is if you get first place, like you get the most money. If you get last, you get like next to nothing.
Okay.
But at the same time, if like your driver wins, that's a lot more marketable than you winning like the constructors. Like for example, Lewis Hamilton's first championship in 2008, I believe it was. Like he won the championship, but Ferrari won the constructors championship, but no one really remembers that.
Oh, okay. So you make more money just straight up like money in the bank account when you win the Constructors' Cup, but you can make probably a lot more money if you get a driver, especially a driver like a Lewis Hamilton that is super marketable with all the other stuff you can do with them, is what you're basically saying. Like outside of the actual sport.
Right. Either whether it be outside the sport or all of a sudden that driver becomes a little bit more valuable or whatnot. But like the actual like cash that the teams may get for like developing the car or whatnot, the hundreds of millions of dollars that they need to push into the sport, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's frequently it's more like one in the constructors. So they're both equally important, but you could argue either which way, like depending on your thing. I don't know. I would almost say like the drivers' championship that's obviously the one that most of the people care about.
The fans and stuff.
Yeah, but I would still argue both are important. So ideally, you want to win both.
All right, fair enough. Well, hey, thanks for calling in and giving us some intel on Formula One.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Take care. You know what's wild is like I think I turned down something in Austin. I almost swear I turned down something.
There's a race in Austin this year, I think.
That was Formula One.
Or maybe last
year.
year.
No, it's always in Austin. That's the big United States.
So now
one.
there's the new one's Miami.
Oh,
there's
okay.
two U.S. ones.
Oh, okay. They have one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know the Austin one. They
There's
always
one that's
had.
newer.
They always had one, but I didn't really know what Formula One was. I did go to like the electrical one, which is wild. I don't know what that's called, but there's like speed boost and stuff where it's like if you drive over a certain point.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait,
Hear
what?
this out.
I know they have like they have a tank of like NOS.
Yes. But you can like power it
allowed.
up and you can like press buttons.
What sport?
Because F1, no, same thing. It's F1.
But it's a whole different race.
It's not F1. But it's basically like F1 with electrical cars.
What the frick? When did that start?
I don't know, but me and Kelsey went to an event in New York. It was ridiculous. But like, you know how F1 sometimes, I should have asked.
Formula E.
Formula E, yes.
Ah.
That is it. I should have asked Tomas this question. It seems like sometimes they're able to control the car a little bit by like cooling it off. They're able to do certain things to make it more power or less power.
So it's
right?
more strategy.
Something that was it's also in how the car drives and stuff like that. The booth
you can
will
do that in
tell
F1
them,
now.
Yeah, the booth will tell them what to do.
So the driver's changing all that.
Yeah,
they don't have any remote
I don't know
stuff?
what season you're on. They might have some remote stuff. I don't know what season you're on, but there's one season where it's super.
I mean, they're asking questions like, "Can I get more power?"
Yeah, but I think they tell them like what to do.
No, I know, but that's
because like if you push too hard too soon, you'll have to pit earlier or box earlier than other teams, and you'll lose time.
Crap, Tomas, can you come back on? I think Hunter's talking out his butt.
I think what I'm saying makes a lot of sense. But what I was about to say...
No, there's people that have the stats of the car.
Correct.
Literally, their only job to do is monitor the car.
But I think there's
can they
things of like
change
where
it?
they can like juice you and be like, yes, we're going to give you more power.
I'm saying that they're telling the driver how to drive to get more power.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Hunter's right on that.
Yeah, I think so too. The other thing too
I need someone in the chat.
is because in one of the seasons you'll see Mercedes developed this thing where they push the steering wheel in to angle the wheels differently on straights and then pull it before. It's either pull or push before the turn to angle the wheels to give them less drag or whatever it ends up being, more traction on the turns. But the more traction slows you down on the straights, so you can pull and push the steering wheel in and out. And it was like highly scrutinized by other teams of being cheating, and it was declared to not be cheating. So it was just like genius thing that the drivers had to learn. of like now before they go into turn, they have to get more traction. And then when they get on the straight, they push it so it angles where they have less traction but more speed. That's all the driver.
Size, pay attention to the chat. I think some people are trying to answer that question. I can't keep up with it. My thing is like it sounds like the driver is like asking like
I think he's asking how can I get more power? Like can I push my car more?
But there's also times too. There's also times too where they're like saying like, "Hey, put your car in cooling device. You need to cool the engine down." And so like then they can't go nearly as fast by doing that. So like there's definitely different things.
There's one thing. It's in Indy cars. It's called push to pass, and that's where
I've
it
heard
boosts
that too.
the engine up.
Yeah, but the driver's pushing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is no
So
remote.
it gives you an allotted,
like
it
little
adds
boost.
like 100 horsepower,
for a little portion.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's nothing's
certain
remote.
amount.
Everything is done by the driver.
As far as I know, they just tell them when to do it, and they're monitoring the stats.
Yeah, but
to
there
say
are certain things that drivers
safe.
can do to like juice it up to really push their car to the limit.
Yeah, you have to be smart when you do it and don't do it, so that you don't burn out your engine.
Because really, NASCAR for the most part, NASCAR is like all about the tires, and that's it. They never like worry about the engine. It's really just like trying to conserve your tires to not have to pit as much as possible.
I know nothing about NASCAR.
Okay. All right. Let's get someone else, and then we're going to call it. Who do we want? Ryan's got a golf swing.
I know this blue logo was raising their hand a bunch.
Who is this?
Albatross.
This is a brand. This looks sick.
I don't know. They were raising their hand
Well,
a
it
bunch.
says the Albatross Disc Golf. This looks sick.
All right, Albatross, you're on.
We're talking to a company here. This is the voice of a company.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Oh, yeah, perfect. Good. It's going good. Thanks for doing this. I'll just answer some of the Formula One questions. I'm by no means an expert, but there is kind of like an overtake button in Formula One.
Okay.
The DSR. I
DSR.
forget exactly what it stands for, but when you're within a second of the opponent ahead of you in pace, you can activate that. And what that does is the wing lifts up, so you're able to get like an extra, I think, like 10 to 15 kilometers.
Oh, the name in the background.
Overtake on straights.
Yes. Yeah, I've always wondered. I'm like, how are these cars going so much faster? Oh, and then that also makes way more sense when they didn't let. There was one episode where they were telling the guy not to pass. So that's why he couldn't. Okay,
it's called drag reduction system.
DRS.
Oh my gosh,
DRS.
that makes so much. And when that's down, you can see the brand name.
Yeah.
And then when it flaps up, you can't see it, and they go way faster. Oh my gosh, I'm learning so much.
That's what I'm saying. F1's sick.
DRS, baby.
We need more stuff like that in disc
Thomas,
golf. Like the guy pulled out his thing.
I need a DRS disc.
Are you saying Thomas was true with what? You're saying Tomas was something?
Oh yeah, he was just saying like so. For example, I got into Formula One just about a year ago, and so I'm Mexican. It's because of Sergio Perez, who is Red Bull's number 2.
Heck yeah.
And I think it's like he says, a lot of people, you see a lot of my friends group, you wear the hats, and I would say, the individualship is more important because, people really root for one driver, and that kind of makes you root for somebody. Like I'm a really big, I prefer Hamilton over Max. But once, Sergio went to Red Bull, I kind of naturally started, cheering for Red Bull just because I wanted to see Max on podium. Or sorry, not Max, Sergio on podium with Max.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right, so it is more individual.
When does the season start? Is it
March?
Okay, so it's
first week of March.
Off season right now?
Yep.
Damn.
It's on ESPN.
We need to go to the one that's in
Miami sold out.
No. The sick one where all the big ballers go to.
The Italian? Monaco.
Yeah. Let's go.
I was going to say, I looked at the Miami one and all the tickets were sold out because I was like, Liz, we should definitely go to the Miami one.
I'm 100% in.
It was sold out.
I'm going to start working on trying to get some sort of Formula One
get
situation.
us there.
Where we can just, we'll go for free and just promote the crap out of whatever. That'd be sick.
We already talked about it for an hour on a disc golf podcast.
Is Force India still a team?
They rebranded to, because they had some issues going on. So don't quote me on this, but I think they're now. It's a team that Daniel Ricciardo ended up joining before he left. I think.
Renault.
Renault. Whatever.
Renault.
All right, we need to reach out to them.
I have a question for you guys if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully it's a debate question. Who do you think, and I think we can all agree that Ricky, Paul, and Igor are the top 3. They're interchangeable.
Uh-huh.
Who would you say has the most potential to kind of crack that top 3?
crack into it.
Yeah, I would go with Hammes myself, but I'm curious to hear
Adam
your
Hammes.
opinion on
Interesting.
why.
I think Calvin Heimberg. I think Heimberg has the same talent as kind of Eagle, Rick, and Paul. I think he just is missing. I think once he gets like a few more big wins under his belt, that's kind of what he's missing is like the experience of winning. But talent-wise, I don't really know if there's much that Eagle, Rick, or Paul can do that Calvin can't. Hammes is an interesting one. I think Hammes has a lot of potential. He's younger than Calvin by a little bit. But my choice is Calvin. I don't know, Brodie, who you're thinking.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with more. You know what? I'm going to go with more of a long-term situation. I'm going to go with Gannon Burr. So I don't think he'll jump into it in the next year or two. But
did you see he's got some tricks up his sleeve?
That was a mirrored video.
I did not fall for that.
You saw it was mirrored, right? So
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I was hoping.
It
was
was exact.
part of me was hoping you weren't.
It was his perfectly exact backhand.
He fooled me for like 2 seconds.
I was not fooled.
Yeah.
Connor sent it to me.
Connor
And I
sent
said,
it in
and I
the
like
chat.
opened it. I was like, "Holy cow!" That
Also,
looked
there's an
incredible.
American flag in the background that's mirrored. So
I didn't
dead
look that.
giveaway. I just made that up. All right.
Oh.
Albatross, though, thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
I was like, I
Yeah,
didn't see
appreciate
that.
it.
Sergio, F1 is just phenomenal. We might need to start an F1
It's fascinating.
podcast. Do we
It's
need to start
fascinating.
an F1 podcast?
No, we don't know enough. We need to
Maybe
get a
that's
season.
perfect,
We need to get a season under
You
our
need
belt.
to watch more than Netflix.
I don't know anything about disc golf
F1.
when we have a podcast.
Yeah, but you're a touring player, and I know enough about disc golf to host a podcast.
Hey, someone give me enough money and I'll be a F1 driver.
You're too
no,
tall.
there's a
You're
sneaky
too
thing.
tall.
There's a sneaky thing.
Wait, is there a height limit?
Yeah.
There's the
Well, you can only.
What? There's a height limit?
There's probably not a height limit.
Who's the tallest F1 driver of all time?
I don't know.
Google that. No, but you said to give me enough money, you'll be an F1 driver. That's like there's the guy.
No, if I
who-
had enough money, I could be an F1 driver.
No, but there's the
Lance
guy
guy.
who's starting. Yeah, his dad.
Yeah.
His dad ends up funding Racing Point, and they kick off whatever their driver they
Yeah,
had
for his son.
to bring in Lance,
Yeah,
which
that's
he
what I'm
said.
saying.
Lance
Well-
Stroll.
6 foot. Tallest guy.
Ever?
6 foot. Yeah.
You are
That's
too
what
tall.
it says.
Someone said too
I'm-
heavy, not too tall. Wow. Okay, guys.
Esteban
I'm on a diet.
Ocon.
I'm on a diet, okay?
I will say it's fascinating how F1 drivers
Jeez.
keep themselves in good shape.
They have to.
I know, but like you wouldn't think driving would be physically grueling, but it's like the
Do you
driving
see that steering
and
wheel?
yeah, I know.
Like it's.
The driving and the reaction time.
Have you ever gotten into a simulator?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So the Formula E thing that we went to, they actually had simulators of it, which I'm guessing it's probably very similar. I think F1.
Don't
Yeah,
you
they'll-
pull like a lot of G forces?
F1 will
F1
drive
goes
on
way
simulators.
F1 goes way faster. But the simulator, it's literally like identical to the Formula E car. And I'm telling you, like I maybe did like 3 laps, and my arms were dead.
Yeah.
I was like,
Someone just said they lose 5 to 10 pounds a race.
well, just water weight, I'm sure.
I need to do a few F1 races. That's what I need to do. Is that the new diet?
No, you know what? We need to get a simulator in the new office.
Oh my gosh, how much? Look it up.
That's too much.
Silas,
It's
look it
not.
up.
No, it's not that expensive.
If it's under $10,000, look it up right now.
It is. It is guaranteed.
No, look it up.
Well,
Darren,
I
look
mean,
it up.
what are you talking simulator?
F1 simulator.
Like, are we talking we're just getting a
No, legit one.
Forza steering wheel and a pedal that's like $200
No,
and
no,
a big screen?
legit one for Formula One.
Like
the
building one out.
The one that the kid that's that's actually a driver now. He was
Gasly?
doing it. He was doing it at home. And
Alex-
they brought him up. He's never driven a real race. You haven't heard about that kid?
I feel like I did, but I feel like the one at home wasn't that intense.
Hmm.
Maybe I was wrong.
I don't know. $25,000 for a full motion sim.
Oh,
There you go. 25.
25.
He said 10.
How much is a TrackMan?
25.
You can get a golf simulator for a lot less.
You can get a full golf sim that way cheaper.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
TrackMan is just way better.
We need to focus on
Gosh.
that first. Let's get a
All right,
golf simulator.
Let's get one more call.
Let's get a
one more
golf
call.
simulator, then we'll worry about anything
One more
else.
call. One more call.
All right, raise your hand.
Alex raised their hand first.
Boom.
Alex, finish us off. What you got?
Test.
Test.
How's it
You're
going?
good.
Hey, buddy. How you guys?
What's good?
Doing good.
Okay, so real quick question.
Do you guys think that disc golf or live disc golf is at a disadvantage when it comes to viewership because of how accessible it is, like within tournaments? I see the argument all the time. It's like, I don't watch live disc golf because I'm playing disc golf. There's a lot of people who are on the weekends constantly playing tournaments, not going to sit down and watch live disc golf.
That's it. Well, yeah, I actually haven't heard when people say like I'm playing disc golf on the weekend. I always just thought like they're like just out casual rounds.
Casual round.
But
that's what I was thinking at first. But now that I think about it,
you make a good point.
It's like there's tournaments every weekend.
But there's like weekly things every weekend in golf. Every course around here has like weekly tournament stuff.
But
like,
people aren't. It's not.
I have another comment about that too.
There's
ball
way.
Golf is
There's
way
way more people play like casual golf and would never dare to play in a tournament.
And like sign up for like a league or a tournament.
If anything, they're doing like they're like what you're talking about is the people that are like members of a club. And there's like they probably have like stuff there, but that is such the minority of golfers. The casual golfer trumps the membership golfer.
But
it's
I wonder
not even
what
close number wise.
We don't know the number of casual disc golfer to PDGA membership disc golfer.
I think here's where I think it is, Alex. I think the real problem is like I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think the real problem is the casual disc golfer doesn't even have any idea about the disc golf pro tour.
Yeah.
I think
you're actually probably
I think that's probably where the issue is right now. Is like every person that goes out and golfs knows the PGA Tour. They know Tiger Woods. They know Phil Mickelson. They know all that stuff. People that are just casually playing once or twice a month or whatever it may be, they probably have no idea there's a disc golf pro tour.
You're probably right. And then my other real quick question is going to hopefully solve your guys' which is harder, disc golf or ball golf. I definitely am on Brodie's side with the ball golf because I think about the disconnect from the actual device you're trying to get in the hole. With disc golf, you got it right in your hand and it releases to wherever you're going to throw it. With ball golf, there's so many things in between your hands and the ball.
I hope that no one thinks I'm on the opposite side of that argument.
I think you are. At least I thought.
Not after today.
No, never.
Oh boy.
Not after today.
Did I ever say disc golf's harder than golf?
I don't think so.
No, the only I made one statement.
I think Paul said that.
Paul said, I think. The only statement I made was I was trying to
Paul
find
and Matt.
Matt
also believes.
I was trying to find a scenario where disc golf would be harder, and the only one I came up with isn't true.
Yeah, it's a terrible. Now that you've played golf, now it's like
but that was the only. That's the whole way it came up. Is I was trying to think of a scenario that disc golf would be harder.
Because like, because when you start, because obviously, like when you think about it, you're like, yeah, everyone knows what a golf swing looks like.
It's so hard.
You have now seen firsthand. It doesn't matter if you know what a golf swing look like. It is nearly impossible to go out there and try to.
Something I noticed today, when playing on a frozen course, is how much the ground condition.
Oh yeah.
Like the conditions of a disc golf course affects a little bit, but not drastically. It more affects your comfort than anything on the disc golf course.
It would be like if disc golf started having where it was like cement, it was some grass, mud, sand, high grass. Like if they had a whole bunch of,
but it still wouldn't affect it that much because it doesn't affect the flight.
You pick up your disc and you don't leave it on the ground.
Exactly. Because also like it also affected
because it affects it both times because you're hitting off of it and then it's landing.
Exactly.
So it's double.
That's
where
like today,
disc golf, it's just one.
Today, like
also,
if I landed a shot.
Sorry.
I was just saying like today the course was very frozen, but like off the green. The ground had some give. On the greens might as well have been the cart path.
Yeah.
So if my ball landed 6 feet shy, it would have like a somewhat normal reaction. If the ball landed on the green and I was 100 yards away or 50 yards away, it bounced like it was on the cart path. But then if I was 5-10 yards away, then it just rolled. Yeah. And so it was fascinating and frustrating.
About the quality of disc golf, golf courses from one to another. Like you go to like a $20 golf course and it's like bare ground, lumpy grass, hard to hit out of. Whereas you go to a nicer course, it's just manicured, so much easier. I find myself hitting balls way better. With disc golf, you don't have to worry about that truly at all. I mean, maybe like trees manicured, stuff like that, but not nearly as bad.
Yeah. No, good points.
Someone in the chat has a pretty bad take. They said they think it's harder to be 1,000 rated disc golfer than a scratch golfer.
I disagree with
No.
that.
I got to 1,000 rating in like
Yeah, that's a pretty
in
bad.
like a couple months.
That's a pretty bad take.
That's what I thought the debate was at
What?
first. Sorry, the
No.
scratch golf versus 1,000 rated.
That's what people try to bring
harder.
up. Yeah, people try to bring it up. I would love to know the percentage of golfers and then the percentage of scratch golfers versus the percentage
I
of
got
disc
close to
golfers
scratch.
and
I
the
was like a
percentage of
280,
1,000 rated players.
Yeah,
Like-
I would like to know that too. But
percentage-wise,
I mean, also, disc golf's
there's-
booming, so who knows?
I mean,
Well,
there's-
percentage
there's-
of PDGA members.
I mean, there's millions of people that aren't scratch golfers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if you go percentage of like PDGA members, which would be like people getting a rating, to 1,000 rated players, like that seems very small. But then you go percentage of people trying to get a handicap, so they have a handicap, which takes effort to figure out your actual handicap, to scratch golfers. I would bet it's not even close.
I think that here's the thing. The biggest issue is like you look at someone like me that had, granted I had some sort of background in throwing a Frisbee. However, if you really look at it, it's
Two different sports.
two completely different sports. So there's a lot of things you have to relearn. My first round or like my first rating after doing a couple tournaments was like 960.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's a great
Right?
example.
Really good.
My
Here's a great
first time
example.
playing golf after, like, look at you. You right now, you've played for like two. I mean, you also have golf experience. It wasn't like you literally are Silas.
No, I had played golf when I was young. Yeah.
Right now, your handicap would be like, you'd be like a plus 30 something.
Yeah.
You're so far, like, because even going from like 30 to 25, massive gap. 25 to 20, like the gaps are getting harder and harder. To go from 960 to 970, not very hard.
Well, this should shut enough people
970,
up.
980, not
so
very hard.
in disc golf, 10 points is about one stroke. I have more than enough people in my comments regularly telling me how awful I am at disc golf. Yet I've been 989 rated within the last 13, 14 months.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So I was within one stroke of being 1,000 rated within the last, and
people think you're
people
trash.
think I'm awful at golf, at disc golf.
No, you're good.
That's what I'm
good.
saying. Is if you look at me and you're regularly like, I could beat that guy, I was within a stroke average of being 1,000 rated player.
Yeah.
That's just
And someone
it's
that-
that much easier.
Someone that's done both.
Yeah.
I got to
I love
1,000 rating so fast compared to how much time and work and effort I had to put in to get to scratch in golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golfing's way
So.
more difficult. I mean, honestly, disc golf is way cheaper though. That's why it's probably more.
It's got to be.
play, but
I would say scratch is probably closer to like 1025.
Yeah. That sounds
makes
solid.
sense.
I would
1020,
say.
1030.
Ten- yeah, 10 like in between 1020 and 1030 would probably be equivalent to scratch. I
Well,
would
thanks
say.
for that, Brody. What benefit do you get from throwing in a net besides staying loose? I've heard that the last couple times you throw into a net.
Oh yeah, because I can't throw outside. That's,
Yeah, no, same here. I can't really throw outside. I don't want
Yeah,
to some days. But
so-
what benefit do you get besides staying loose?
Well, I mean, you can work on timing. That's huge.
okay.
Is keeping your timing, and then also
Do you
like
video like every shot, or
no, I don't. I'll video every once in a while if something feels funky or off. I'll video some stuff, but not too much. But timing, just keeping your timing, and then also just power too. So, like it. You can obviously, like, I'm in the weight room now and lifting and all that stuff, and I can get stronger and whatnot. But if I take a week off from throwing and then throw versus throwing consistently, even if it is in a net, I'm going to be able to throw a lot harder and a lot faster when
I
I'm
actually
throwing
see that as well.
consistently.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's more just timing, making sure that stuff is all linked in. Because I'm not also throwing 100% every single throw, right? Like I'm doing some standstill stuff, forehand, backhand. I'm throwing like some shots 50%.
more mechanics then?
Yeah. And the only reason, again, like Hunter disagrees, but
I'm on your boat, Brody.
But-
I need the cold.
yeah, but if it's well, I guess Hunter disagrees on what the temperature is. I think he
Yeah, I get what you're
agrees
saying.
in the fact of like there is a temperature where throwing outside will not help you as much as
Yeah, you
if
just
you're
set
able
the
to
line
throw
at like
inside.
60 degrees.
No. I was out today. It was 44 and sunny.
And was it worth your time?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly my point.
But it was 44 and sunny. If it was 44 cloudy and windy, I'm in my garage. I'm in my basement throwing. So it is what it is. But All right.
Well, thanks for you guys.
Yeah, thanks for calling
guys.
in, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna end the Twitter Spaces now. Thank you. Sorry for the people that we didn't get to. Hopefully next week. Good little Twitter Space action. I love Twitter Spaces. I wish we were doing that from the get-go, man.
Yeah.
We still haven't really gotten too many
Debates.
debates. We do have some people come in though, which is nice. Mix it up every once in a while.
Do you ever, with your net in the basement, work on like release points?
You're talking about angles, like angle control.
Well, like when I used to practice on net in my parents' basement because the net is too tall for my basement, which is sad.
Like I don't know what you mean by release point because I should be releasing the disc in the same spot.
Well, I would put like 3 different X's on my net with tape, and so 2 were like high and 1 was like middle, and I would try to throw like Anheuser high left.
So when you say release point in my head, I'm thinking.
I'm saying like hit point is what I'm thinking in my head.
Well, lines.
Yes.
You're saying lines.
I'm thinking of like hitting the net at a certain point, which is the line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like throwing a high shot, medium shot.
Yeah.
Low shot. Yeah. So I don't have, and probably I'll probably eventually do this where I'll like duct tape some stuff on there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I just there's enough stuff behind my wall or behind the net that I can kind of see.
Aim at.
So like, yeah, I'm going to aim at this pipe. I'm going to aim at this column. I'm going to aim here or whatever. And yeah, it's just working on different release point. Well, is it release points? I don't think that's the right way of saying it.
I think it's lines. It's
Release
just weird when
lines.
when you're in a basement, you don't see the line.
Yeah.
It feels weird saying it, but it's the line.
Yeah, because you're working on different angles coming out of hand, and you're working on, low to high, basically. Those are the 2 things you can work on.
Yeah.
You really don't want to be releasing it like early or releasing it late.
No.
So that's kind of the release point. But dang, we were all over the map on this one.
Parked a lot on F1.
I don't know how people are going to feel about the F1 talk. I think it's very, very interesting. And obviously it's extremely lucrative. That's what I had no idea how lucrative it is. I also don't know how it's that lucrative. Are people actually making money?
Yeah, the top teams make a lot of money.
Even though they're spending like
hundreds of millions. Their
Like
budgets are
F1 betting too,
hundreds
man.
of millions.
Is there betting in F1?
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be like horse racing, you know?
If you ask me how many people are like on staff for an F1 team, I'm thinking like 15.
Before you watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you realize it's a whole company. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, it's like 600 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I want to roll up to a
it's
disc
like
golf pro
insane.
tour and see Discraft with like a tower of offices at the pro tour event, like they do at F1. Like they walk in, they got their espresso machine and a barista working.
I mean, that's a little intense.
You don't think that'd be incredible?
I think what you could do is I think you could have trailers.
Well, that's more. Yeah.
I mean, because like, at the end of the day, like those guys have the reason why they have those things is because they have all these team meetings.
Yeah.
They have a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I think it'd just be sick to have. Again, I don't think fans would be. Well, no, you could actually have like a fan experience where you walk
have like
through,
a pro shop in there.
Like you walk through,
That's gotta be coming soon, like a Discraft
trailer. Because right now they have RVs, but those are like with players for the most part.
Yeah.
But if you could have like someone that's like driving a trailer for Discraft around in a
so that
truck.
if you lose your Raptor, you just walk onto the trailer and it's like, oh, Brody, you love the Z Raptor. Here's a box of them.
Yeah. And then they
They'll ship 'em
also
to you.
they also just have a bunch of discs there that they can set up to
The
sell.
first manufacturer that does that is going to be able to offer players like less money and get more players because it's just going to be the experience on the course.
Who's gonna be first? Who do you think?
Dynamic discs.
Do we want to talk real quick, kind of on this line, just real fast? I know it's a long
10:30.
episode. Real fast though. Do we want to bring up the Silas tweet?
What?
No.
Save it.
He
for
already got berated enough.
Okay.
Actually, it wasn't even Silas. It was Connor that really got the stuff.
Yeah. Connor
40,000
got the
scratch golfers. There are 40,000 scratch golfers.
Okay, so I'm gonna just Google how many golfers have a handicap.
There you go.
Oh, the Disc Golf Pro Tour just got back to me. The draft for the All-Star event will be happening Thursday.
The Thursday
live.
before the event.
Thursday live before the event.
On Disc Golf Network?
Yeah.
Okay.
In case
I'll be
anyone was wondering. I was wondering that myself.
I'm going to tune in.
Matt, I tweeted maybe a little foundation podcast.
2.4 million.
Foundation live stream or something.
1%. Top 1% of golfers are scratch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then disc golf, I think it's at 1,000 rated players now.
Mm-hmm. And there's let's say there's 100,000 active PDGA members no, it might be more. What? There's 200. Aren't people over 200,000 now, or is it?
Well, that's the
or is it
number.
150? What number are we at?
PDGA number is 200,000, but
So,
that's not active
just
members.
Yeah, but I'm 130, and I just signed up. So you gotta assume
I mean, if it's 100,000, then technically it's a lower percentage of PDGA golfers that are 1,000 rated, PGA disc golfers that are 1,000 rated, than golfers with a handicap that are scratch.
I don't know what that means.
There's 2.4 million golfers with a handicap.
Mm-hmm.
40,000 of them are scratch, which is 1.6%. If there's 100,000 active PDGA members and 1,000 of them are 1,000 rated, I guess I have to see how many are 1,000 rated.
The tricky thing though is
how many 1,000 rated disc golfers are there?
I think the tricky thing when you're thinking about it though is I don't know if this is for or against what I'm arguing, but to me.
Jeez, in 2014, there was only 230 players with 1,000 rating. There's way more now. There's way more. Don't worry about that. But I remember when there was only 200.
I mean, that's terrible.
Why is that terrible?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's just bad. The sport that's so small, easy to get to. I could probably make it there.
Silas,
if I put in the work.
What are you spewing over there?
Silas needs to put his head down.
Why when I go to PDGA player statistics?
What did we initially say that the percentage of scratch
Mike
golf?
says 370 is the number you're looking for.
370.
Yep.
What did we say that this percentage of?
What page am I on? This doesn't make any sense.
What was the initial? What was the initial thing? Are we saying that?
I was saying that I thought the percentage of scratch golfers in golf would be lower than 1,000 rated golfers in disc golf, because I thought the point we were making was 1,000 rated golfer disc golf which is scratch, allegedly that's what it's supposed to be correlated to, would be easier to achieve.
Okay, so
there'd be a bigger percentage.
So this is where I think.
Which the stats disprove that point.
No, but this is why I think the stats are misleading, is because of a numbers thing. If you had the same amount of pool of people playing disc golf, there would be way more 1,000 rated players.
But percentages should kind of go up the same, right?
I don't think.
If the percentage stays the same, that doesn't matter. Because if you have 2.4 million disc golfers with ratings, there would be less 1,000 rated players than there would be scratch golfers.
That's also true, is a scratch golfer can't always play pro courses. 1,000 rated disc golfer can probably relate more to top. I have no idea I'm completely lost. It's too late. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure you check out the Patreon. We're going to be doing a cool little giveaway with something from my personal collection. Well, it's not a giveaway. It's a contest. So if you haven't, patreon.com, Foundation Disc Golf. Check it out. Bunch of cool stuff there. We've got Grip Locked, comes out tomorrow. If you're listening live right now, we've got Bogey Bro Banter, that podcast, which we probably are going to talk a little about F1. I don't know. That will come out.
I've got a great question for the banter. I need to write it down.
Sweet. That will come out on Friday. Does that come out on Thursday?
Thursday.
The banter?
Yeah, Thursday.
Comes out on Thursday. And then our Patreon-only podcast comes out on Friday. Videos out the wazoo coming. Oh, Foundation Nation. I do shout out real quick to Foundation Nation's YouTube channel. 2v2 basketball game.
Heck yeah.
Dropping tomorrow.
Trevor and I versus two local high school sophomores.
Just got their driver's license.
Maybe. Thrilling match.
I saw one of them drive away afterwards.
But was it a learner's permit?
No, because he didn't have.
You have to have
he
a
didn't
parent.
have an 18. You have to have someone over 18.
Why did he wait so long after the?
Oh, he did wait.
He waited forever.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I would have pieced out if I had my driver's license? So that made me think.
Had to get those hours in. Those
so
night driving hours.
You guys aren't going to want to miss that. And then obviously next week, Hunter's final attempt to break 100 in golf. you're not going to want to miss that one either. So debate night, that's it. That's all we got for you guys. Thanks so much. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Drop a like on this video. If you haven't already, pop over to the Apple Podcast, drop a rating. And we thank you for all the support. Sauce, do you have anything else?
I don't. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Make sure you subscribe.
Get something for that coffee stain, my dude.
You say my nude?
It's too late. It's too
I think I was
late.
trying to say my dude.
Oh, we need to get home.
My dude. All right, we're gonna try to end this and let the outro work this time.
Let it roll.
Here we go. Let it roll.